Hello and welcome to tonight's match between Heroic and G2. This is going to be best of 3, and if you're wondering what this is for, it is for the Dreamhack Masters Dallas 2019. This is the Europe Qualifier, and joined by myself, Jevons. It's going to be a solo ride tonight, but that is alright because this is going to be hopefully an absolute ripper. I am pretty dang excited to see these two teams match up, especially in a best of 3 format like this. We don't normally get to see that, and with a bit of a few of the results I've been seeing for these two teams lately, it's going to be a bit exciting. I think it is going to definitely be a tougher challenge for Heroic, of course, but they had some good results leading up out of the open qualifiers before going into this one, and they've got some especially fresh blood there, so that's either going to be a great change for them, but being so sudden, it could also be a bit of a downfall as well. On the other side, though, on side G2, they've just come back from WESG, where they managed to clutch the W there, and they got that off of Fnatic. So after a bit of a break, getting back from China and basically being able to get some more rest, they could pretty much be feeling very refreshed, and therefore pretty much not the version of G2 that Heroic wanted to meet tonight. But we're going to be diving into the knife round here, so whilst that runs through its course, just go through the best of 3 tonight. So first map is of course going to be Overpass. That's actually Heroic's pick here, and we'll be diving into Cache after that. Pretty much a bit of a favorite there for the French scene, especially G2, so that's fine. It does hop into Nuke after that, so if we do make it to that third map, that's, I think, going to be a little bit more up in the air, to be honest. But the knife's gone ahead. We are going to be diving into the pistol round right now. You can see Heroic starting off on the terrace side. Nothing too out of the ordinary with the purchase they've got going on here. It's pretty standard, just 4 players armor. One will buy up the utility, that'll be Freiberg there, just looking to set up that. Otherwise, CT's very similar approach there, but they will get basically been down there. Very much an absolute meat grinder to start off this approach onto the P side, but between KS, Shocks, and Lucky, they're basically just able to shoot this one out, and that's it. 2 players on G2 surviving. That's not a bad start. They're going to be pretty much investing pretty heavily right after that. Shocks getting himself the M4A1S, which has seen a few changes recently. It's got that expanded clip there, so being a little bit more viable than it was before. As for the side of Heroic, seeing mostly a force up here. In some regards, they're basically 4 Deagles, Scout, bit of utility to go around it as well. Overpass has these long lanes, so that pretty much the 1 Deag potential, the Scout potential there, it's not too bad, so this isn't actually a bad choice to run with. Both teams playing it fairly modest. They don't necessarily want to rush around any close angles there and give away anything. As the time does burn down, though, seeing a bit more of an information play here from Heroic. Kenny S does take out Mertz from side there in Toilet, and that's pretty much put S-Tag waiting for some kind of another play there, but that said, Kenny S takes out Stavin. Freiberg was able to get lucky in the meantime, though. Blame taking out Kenny S as well, and this is, even if Heroic doesn't win this, they're still doing lots of damage here. That's fantastic for them. They've left the bomb pretty far behind. Tells you a little bit about what their intentions were going into this one. Amanek takes out Freiberg. Blame. Pretty much leaves up to S-Attack here to try and get one last... Well, I don't think he's going to win, but he might be able to kill 1 or 2 more players. And 20 seconds left. He's not going to have enough time to really run back to the bomb, so that's going to be his only way forward here. Well, excellent anticipation there. Amanek throwing the grenade. That's it. Aztec basically just run out and get himself killed. There's nothing else he can do there in that case. Now being able to completely secure that round, Heroic on a similar enough pistol buy there. They're just going to keep everybody above $2,000, just try and build up that economy. On the side G2 though, they've got a slight concession here. It's going to be Kenny S on the glass cannon. He doesn't have any armor, and considering his opponents are using Deagles and the P250s there, that could actually be a bit of a death sentence. It is Kenny though. He's not one to normally whiff these shots, so the fact that he is constantly adjusting his position as well would make him quite deadly. Amonek's pretty much there to sort of protect him if anyone pushes up, wants to rush him. He does miss one shot there. He's not able to secure the second. Amonek does take out as a tag there, but that's it. The T is going to be moving up on this position pretty quickly, but they're not able to catch out anyone from G2, and with that, they're actually able to retreat from that situation there. Kenny S losing a bit of health there. He's down to 48, but overall, they've pretty much got a kill with nothing to really worry about. Jax takes out Freiberg there. It's down just outside of Canal. But Stavin, he wants to try and get something here. Blame does get something, but I believe with that, they haven't quite spotted the bomb. They haven't rotated yet. With 40 seconds left, they don't necessarily have to rush anything. Stavin, he's waiting for the shot, but he doesn't get it. Lucky, living up to his namesake, survives that engagement down in. Yes, he doesn't miss his shot. Neither does Amonek. Takes out both Blame and Mertz there. With that, G2, well, any losses they would have suffered in these first 3 rounds are not really going to hurt them whatsoever. Kenny S basically replenishing a lot of his utility, getting his armor back. Doesn't actually go for the helmet either, which makes sense. You're up against AKs, and in this case an AWP as well, not that they might see that. It's pretty much going to one-shot kill you if it gets you in the head there. But with that being said, Heroic, for the first time in this matchup on Overpass, they have proper buy-in. They have rifles, they have the AWP, the utility as well. All of the armor that they need to basically weather anything that the CTs can throw at them. That's pretty much starting off fairly conservatively. One team's waiting for the other side to actually make some kind of mistake. Not really seeing that. After a while, that pretty much just ends up burning a fair amount of time for Heroic. I mean, Heroic have been working towards Upper Park. They've been able to get a lot of information there, but that's on the side for the moment as Amonek gets Stavin, but he's straight out quickly by Freiberg. Shox knows that Freiberg's there. I don't know if Freiberg's actually going to anticipate this. He's got to pretty much watch so many different angles. In fact, he's about to get double peeked. He's not able to get Jax. That's where we're going. Rotate comes in. Heroic is going to start focusing up on towards this A side. Incendiary goes down. Kenny S is able to stall out this approach for just a little bit longer. Very wide flank coming in from Shox. He's going for the long information play. He's going to be coming up behind them in Upper Park. And this could be devastating, but with 15 seconds left, push onto the site has to come through. Rotate's coming in. Utility's going down. That's actually a CT Incendiary there that locks them out. We're just down to S-Attack though. 2 health, 3 seconds. Does he just try to survive this one? It's killed after time. Economically speaking, that's going to be quite bad for them. He went in this case. Heroic may decide they want to force up around this. They have a player which has an AK utility armor. I'll force up a little bit, not completely committing to it though. Again, this G2 defense on Overpass is quite decent. In fact, they're going for a much different approach here. Very aggressive. That nade doing lots of damage and Shocks. Look at him here. He's pushed out into Park. Not that it matters. Blame and Mertz pulling up with amazing, amazing kills there. Basically a jumping Mac 10. It's got to be Bit frustrating. Lucky, though, also getting taken out very suddenly by Steven. Jax, his job now is to survive. Freiburg could have opened the door, could have gone for it, but didn't. This stage, Heroics still have to worry about what kind of economic impact losing any guns really has on them. It's not just the guns, it's the armor behind it. Likewise, G2 have to keep this gun going forward. Any little bit of equipment, weapons, anything they can take into the next round does help them out quite a bit. Freiburg is still hunting. Hasn't found them yet. Doesn't look like he will, though. Going for a completely different direction. Jax is going to survive that one. With that, we have quite the mismatched economy on the French side, on G2. A couple of drops coming in there. They want Kenny S to have that stopping power, so they get him the orb. They get a second one onto Shocks as well. Again, with these long lanes here, the orbs can be quite effective. Heroic getting a bit more forward positioning here. I think they're a bit wary about Park there. That Molotov flying over the edge there does a fair amount of damage there. Jack's actually taken a bit of a hit. Freiburg wanted to get out of there. He didn't have the utility or cover to do it, and he was pretty much just waiting to get shot, and that's exactly what will happen. Forward position from Shocks in Upper Park. It's giving them so much information. That's why we're seeing a lot of CT movement on this B site. They know that something's going to be coming there soon. They haven't seen the bomb, though. A minute 10 left. Also, time to let the CT sweat. Also time for them to rotate back if they want to basically get a more even spread across these two sites. That utility comes out. Oh, Kenny, yes. Excellent flick on Steven, but Mertz is there pretty much ready to trade him out, and that's exactly what happened. Still not getting any solid commitment, though. That kill does pretty much mean that Amanek is going to position himself back. A side there, just a midpoint. Mertz again. He's getting good kills. One was pretty much an instant trade out there, but that pretty much opens up a lot of the A side. 20 seconds. They know as soon as they actually see any place really work onto this S tag. Getting a flash Amanek there. Quite good. That is A side secured. Now, Jax and Lucky, they have to decide as to whether they want to actually go for this one. Economy's going to be pretty bad either way. A fallback. Conservative move, but all things considered, Heroic are looking pretty strong. They're going to have a good post-plant situation as well. In fact, in this case, they're actually hunting a little bit. They're moving further and further out from the A site. That's actually taken a very far position back there in Upper Park, just to actually cover bomb side there. He wants to make sure that nobody tries to sneak through and defuse. After that, though, they've thought, maybe not. We don't necessarily want to actually hunt this one too much, and not the worst decision there. I mean, Heroic's economy is quite good, but they actually risked perhaps giving them, say, an AK or an AWP. And you've got to do that risk assessment there. You've got to decide whether you actually want to do that or not. As for this round, though, G2, you're relying on some great work from Max and Lucky, it seems. Pretty much the only two who have anything. That's because they carried it from that last round. Otherwise, everybody else, that's Shocks, Kenny, Amanek, they're all on USPs, no armor. Pretty much there to say that they're not expecting to really... You know what? Kenny S doesn't care about that. He's just going to get a kill over boost, but once that's pretty much done and dust, the game's up. Freiburg rounds the corner, takes out Amanek Shocks there. Mertz also getting kill onto Jax, making sure he's not able to get the flank on them again. That's it. The round is taking its expected route, and that is pretty much a... Well, unfortunately, if you're a G2 fan, it's another point on the board for Heroic. Mertz still keeping the position just in T-spawn. Lucky, now that he knows that there is going to be an AWP lurking about there, he doesn't actually want to take too many risks here. Gonna work towards any exits or anything like that. All things considered, G2 able to pretty much bring a rifle into the next round again. That's pretty decent. I mean, the losses are starting to stack up from there, so the rest of the team can actually buy up. Don't think anyone's actually going to be able to get an AWP there, so I mean that's unless they make a pretty significant sacrifice. But that said, they are just going to go for well, actually, okay, yes, just going for the glass cannon again. Literally nothing else, just that AWP and the USB. His going to position, though, is going to be a bit indicative as to what they want to actually get away with here. Looking for a very similar sort of setup there, going for that close push onto Park. Not too close, though. I know that Heroic are going to be wary of this. Otherwise, they're trying to use these close angles to their advantage. Who that is. Lucky twisted in connector there. Heroic pretty much have a strong idea as to how far back they want to sit. Their positions are trained here. They're sitting just outside of Park. Going to be throwing a lot of utility from here. S-Tag's actually been set up specifically for it. A Molotov comes in. Whether it's actually able to block out Kenny S, it's not. He stays in front of it, but that's not the goal, though. Pretty fast rotate there coming in from Heroic onto this B side. A good read from them. They have to move fast, though. In fact, G2 will include into this, trying to rotate a bit themselves. Get to heaven as fast as possible. Kenny S running down. Smoked out, though. That's a lot of B-side control already gone before they've even stepped onto the site. We locked out of it. Oh no. Shadow gives away Jax. Amanek on site, though, has managed to get his first kill. Just to get the bomb drop. This pretty much controls a lot of where they go. But Kenny S, not wanting to be left out of the fun there, does get himself a kill. Mertz goes down. Flame, he's the last one, but they know exactly where he is. Has to hop around Monster here. It's a 1 versus 3. That nade does a little bit of damage. Is he going to get caught out? 7 seconds. Not able to take out Lucky there. Heroic, though, they're not going to be sweating too much. This is still early days for them. They've got a lot of money to work with here. So, as you can see, they don't actually really, their plan doesn't really change too much. They're able to buy up completely, get all the utility that they need. G2, though, are they going to go for this aggressive push? In fact, they are going to be very aggressive. NES actually able just to almost clip the top of Mertz's head, it seems. Falls back from that. Smart move. That is going to be a little bit greedy. Don't necessarily want to get punished for the hubris of that one. Again, Heroic going for this defensive line, if you will, just around Park. Feeling a bit more confident now, though. They'll push up just a little bit, perhaps just to set up a bit of utility. Kenny S's position here, having moved from pretty much sitting in the playground itself. Yeah, trying to move around toilets. But possibly know that a lot of Heroic's going to be heading his way. He gets 1 kill. He sees Mertz. Don't know if he sees the others. Not really moving too fast out of the way there. Shocks takes out 1. Steven goes down. Blame's there to trade him out. NES gets another. Oh no, he is doing so much damage despite having so little to work with, but Estag will finally end his reign. The 2 versus 3 situation. Heroic, though, they have the bomb, they have the utility to work with. Pretty much dictate where this goes from here on. G2, though. Oh, it's likely going to be A. I don't know if Amanek's actually spotted the shadow. He's definitely spotted the barrel of the gun, though. He moves around the corner, pretty much caps Estag right in the back of the head. Heroic. They have 1 player left. It's Flame. Spotted, though. Once they get the angle on him, Jax is able to secure that kill. Nabs himself an AK. He's got to be quite happy about that. Still a bit of a ride before they can actually break Heroic's economy, though. And this match pause has... I'm going to have to say it's got to be tactical. It's likely to be coming from Heroic. Got to basically be thinking about what really changed from the side of G2, because mid-round, they're getting undone. G2 able to get some good peaks. Actually catch a few players from Heroic off guard. We saw it last round for sure. That has been cancelled. Diving back into the action now. They've used the time to reset themselves. Emotionally speaking, basically just gotta recollect your thoughts, or if they've got a plan, yet to be seen. G2, of course, knowing they've likely used... Oh no, Stavin, that Molotov was a bit off. Knowing that Heroic have likely come up with a bit of a different game plan here, have changed theirs as well. A mark of a team with a decent tactics pool here for overpass. G2, they just want to play this one a bit more conservatively. They're waiting for somebody to make that move. The flash comes in. Jax has actually flashed himself, though either side could have had the drop there. Unfortunately, Estad goes down. Stavin gets a kill onto a flash Jax there, but Lucky's there to pretty much stop that nonsense. Shox has spotted the bomb. It's been dropped. Mertz, last one alive. He has to try and do something here, but there's just too many of them. Shox gets the flank. That is it. Heroic had a bit of a run there. They were able to string 3 of those rounds together, but it's over, at least for now. G2 got a bit more of a sure footing. Economy's built up for them. A little bit more precarious, but Heroic, this is getting towards the danger zone. Haven't been able to buy up nearly as much utility as they like. Seems like going towards canals, they're going towards that B-side Vine Monster. It's not going to quite work out for them. Now, they're going to be trying Connector. Armonic or Kenny S, they're both going to have to basically be ready for this. Flash pops out. Kenny S gets the first kill onto Stavin. They're going to know that somebody's running through there. Flame takes out Armonic. It's going to be a bit of a stalling measure there provided by Kenny S. They don't want to run to his crosshair, but he is potentially in a bad position here. They can get him. They're going to grab him just before that flash goes off there, so he's not actually able to escape. That's provided a lot of time here for Lucky to rotate. So he's going to have pretty much the eyes on the places that Shox isn't necessarily able to see. Flame, Bark, rest of his team just sitting outside of toilets. Quite deliberate. They know they can burn down a bit of time here. Not too much. Got the utility. They can get control of the site here, and that's moving in now. But if they don't account for Shox, which Freiburg wins the duel there, so that's a fantastic start. He's weakened. But Lucky, he's hiding in the smoke. Surely they know that he's going to be doing something. He tries to get the spray down. He's not able to stop the bomb plant, though. With so many people knowing exactly where he is, he's just going to be running out of there. 2 versus 3 retake situation. It is not. G2 diving out of the side there. They don't want to go for that. Smart move. They've got the lead. You don't necessarily need to throw away utility, guns, anything of that matter. Something that we usually like to see is a bit of patience and a bit of an appreciation of your situation when you are in the lead and you lose rounds like this. As for Heroic, we're going to have to see perhaps a drop being provided. Stavin, we'll see that. With that, they're able to buy up again. We'll see another switch up here. G2 are actually focusing a lot of their efforts on Connector now. After that last round, Kenny is pretty much in a position there to provide a lot of pain. Oh my. That was almost Mertz taken out there, but thankfully Stappen was pretty much there to get the shot. He wasn't flashed. Gonna be creating a lot of pressure for G2. They've got a very long rotate there. If Shox goes down now, that's it. Knives out, Almanac. Oh, they want to get back here as soon as possible. Oh, to be concerned about Shox here. In this case, they don't wait for any utility to go off there. Freiberg's actually able to survive that, but again, low health. Almanac from the side, trades are coming in. This is exactly what Heroic wants. Got a situation where G2's already on the site. They're gonna know that he's there. Mertz gets the kill. Jax, 1 versus 3 retake situation. Gotta know that with a lot of these rounds where G2 hasn't gone for the retake, they might do it this time, but that first bit of engagement there, not result in a kill for Jax whatsoever, does weaken Mertz and co. That said, Freiberg's pretty much going to be waiting around this corner because they know that if Jax wants to rotate out of this, he's got to run past this. And there we go. That's it. Freiberg's able to make sure that that's even more money that doesn't carry on with G2 into the next round. First eco that we've actually probably seen from G2, to be honest. They're going to use it. They're going to try and go for these advanced positions like they were during a lot of their macro buy rounds, but I think they've made Heroic just a little bit too wary of it. I mean, you can't say never with these things because Kenny S was still able to get a kill with a USB before. Perhaps Heroic having to keep their head on the swivel there and check all these angles, and they've got to know it if they've been keeping track of the enemy's economy. Either be a bit of a light force up, low utility, or they've gone for exactly what they've done here. No armor, low utility. Freiberg almost gets caught out there, but he's able to quickly dispatch of shots, and Lucky, a lot of health lost as a result of that. The rest of his team isn't necessarily going to be coming and really follow this up, except for the fact that, yeah, Kenny S, Jax, they die. Almanac, interesting. Not able to secure a kill there. It's a lot of money built up for Heroic as a result. They get to carry a lot of stuff next round. And barring any significant disasters, that is pretty much going to round out the rest of this half with them being able to buy, which both times there, get a decent purchase going into these rounds. G2 on the other hand, not quite as lucky, and what was a significantly dominating performance there in this first half might slip away from them. Just a well-timed grenade there, well-timed spray through smoke by Esatag. I get rid of Jax. Shox also going down there. Freiberg adding a lot of his shots there, winning those duels. Doesn't actually lose, well, much health at all for it this time, only 2. So places a lot of pressure onto the remainder of G2 side. Lucky, Almanac, S. Onyx got a tenuous hold on A's side here, sitting outside a toilet. Lost to Lucky and Kenny S, focusing a lot of their efforts around B. It's only now that Lucky decides that he actually wants to rotate, and that he's walking through here for a lot of it, just until he gets outside there. They don't really know exactly where a lot of this side is. Almanac, though, takes out Mertz, but Esatag able to take him out. Blame also taking out. It's there, and that'll be it. Interesting jump around the corner there with the smoke. Lucky, not living up to his name now, but at that stage, I guess he thought he just had to go for it. See if they don't think I'm going to push through smoke. It's a bit of an old classic, but it doesn't work in this case. And for this last round and a half there, not really have much to work with. Almanac. Okay. This is round 15. I'm not sure what you're saving for. That's okay. Maybe you can get shocks on out. Oh, quick peeks there. Interconnector gets a lot of information, but not able actually kills. Shocks having gone down quite a bit earlier there means that what was already a bit of a disadvantageous position, lesser buy, lesser weapons, is made just that little bit worse. They've got the utility though, G2, so if they can land it correctly, and this is an interesting play from Kenny. He drops the Molotov just in front there, but Mertz, he isn't falling for it. Peeks the corner, gets the unscoped shot there, which is amazing. And whether they actually want to follow through on this and go towards this A site's another question. Seems like they might be just throwing the utility there. They know they've got a G2 side that's on a bit of a different buy. That makes it so that they can't necessarily afford to take as many risks, like holding off on a side there. But lucky, CZ down here, he does get spotted though. Steven gets him. Steven gets another one, but Amanek, whilst he does get the trade, is dispatched. And that is it. That is going to be an 8 to 7 half there. Heroic bringing it back quite nicely. And again, this is Heroic's pick. So a practice CT side on this overpass map could be quite good. G2 though, they are nothing to be balked at there. The coordination and Crouch picking their moments to peak as well. She's pretty decent understanding here, so this could be a very different story indeed. It's worth noting, just whilst we have a bit of a downtime here, that Heroic, that new addition to their team, just as well, as of a couple of days ago, is Steven, one of the youngest players that we have playing at this level for sure. He's only 16, already putting up some good results for this side. So the fact that he's able to fit into the lineup nicely as he has been quite good. Struggling a little bit earlier in this matchup, but I think being a younger player, perhaps going up against a definitely a more veteran side, E2, nerves might be playing a little bit there. He's warming up a little bit, is able to get a few more results, which is good, especially if you're going for Heroic. If you are just joining us as well for this matchup, this best of 3 between Heroic and G2, so it's pretty much the first map. Overpass, it is Heroic's pick, so this half score at the moment might look pretty even. It was actually a bit of a effort for Heroic to claw back there, which they did nicely. Next map, though, will be Cash. It's G2's pick, and if we make it to a third map, it's going to be Nuke. It's probably going to be the case, because I want to see more of these two teams face off, and having that happen on Nuke is pretty much just a small dream for me for this week. But we're back into it, onto the second pistol round, rather. Seeing a different approach here from G2 as their counterparts did first half there. Bit more utility being used. They've got ideas. They want to be able to get more real estate, and the utility is going to be the way that you do it. I don't think Shox has spotted out. Aspect from the side there. That doesn't matter though. Mertz is going to pop off there. He gets 2. He's not able to secure the third one though. Kenny is able to get himself a kill, but that doesn't matter. He's down. And Lucky pops a bit of damage. It's 2 players remaining on G2. They're going to take out 4 CTs who have armor. These 2... the remaining players, they don't. With that, Amanek gets the first kill, not copping any damage himself, so that's a good start. He gets that USP, gets that headshot advantage there. Flame, he doesn't even have to be hit in the head. Doesn't matter though, he's gonna get one. Doesn't get the second though, Lucky. With 50 seconds left, he does take out Blame towards Upper Park. But without a lot of information being gathered by the rest of Heroic, I'm not entirely certain where he's going to be going. Seven, he's waiting for the rotate. Lucky playing this one smart. He knows that because he has that extra bit of time, he can run away around the long way. Without knowing too much of what Heroic's doing, though, he might want to slow down here, but decided not to. He's pretty much, somebody's cut the brakes on him. He is not slowing down for anything. Don't know if Heroic have actually heard this. They almost certainly have. Going in for the rotate, both players here. Coming in through connector. Make sure they don't drop down and make any possible noise whatsoever. Lucky, he's trying to put himself a bit of an odd angle. Got something going on, but with the double peak coming in there, Freiberg's able to quickly kill him. Got the defuse, and that's it. Heroic will continue their lead. 9-7 now. With that, Heroic get themselves second pistol. They're able to buy up into this round. G2 though, so are they. They got some good results. They got the bomb plants. They get the kills as well. This grenade, oof, that does a bit of damage onto Kenny S there without the armor, but it does an almost equal amount there through to Jax, who did have the armor. These AKs though, they are going to be a bit of a red flag for Heroic. Pretty much means that in the hands of the likes of Shox and Jax here, it's still quite dangerous. The money-making exercise that is the anti-eco might not be so easy. Then Shox looks his way through the toilet there. There's nobody to be found whatsoever. Blame gets his teammate to flash him in. He might have been able to get out of that one alive, but his teammates there quickly able to come in and get the trade. Keep things even. Kenny S able to run with the AK now. This could be a bit of a danger. That is kind of one of the beauties of this team basically pushing up together. Amanek does catch out Stavin, and that's going to sting just a little bit. The rest of his side, though, have to basically find out what is actually going on here. Freiberg is creeping out. He is trying to go for as much of an information play as possible. He thinks he's actually routing around on the B push. He doesn't, though, because they're actually going towards A, and as soon as he finds that out, he's put in a very compromised position, though. Bomb isn't going to go down. They may not have enough time. They don't. An excellent delay of the bomb plants there by Heroic. That's got to be a little bit of a bitter feeling. Sour taste in the mouth of G2. What was a force up pretty much did not pay off for them too well whatsoever. Looking to buy up around this again though, G2 that is. The rifles, getting the Desert Eagle there, and if you look at Heroic, they are in double mag territory here. They're double swag. So positioning of that is interesting because both of these swag players sitting on B site. They want to use those angles as best as they can, but whether they can actually get those multiple or basically stringed kills together with that gun is going to be in question indeed. Mertz wanting to get somebody here. He gets the body shot into Kenny S. Lucky dispatches of Freiberg there down in tunnels. Whether they actually get Blame is going to be another question. Blame gets Lucky, and the rest of G2, they're going to be hunting for him. Blame pretty much holds on there. He gets the spray down, taking out Jax and Kenny S. Shox, he has to avenge them somehow, but he's not going to be able to do it. Excellent hold there from Blame. Nabs himself an AK. They know where this rotate's going to be going from. Blame has got to count this down properly. So much time there to go through tunnels. Hasn't seen him in tunnels yet, so he's going to basically be swapping to look towards party. Not gonna work. Because Amanek isn't there. He is running the long game through Upper Park. We're just gonna be running into the gauntlet there. Blame. Just sitting outside the bomb site itself. S-Tag's down. He's keeping an eye on B from heaven there. Don't think the swag's necessarily gonna do too much, but Amanek is slowly working through this. As soon as the time goes off, bomb plant rather, I think he would have had to contend with Blame pretty quickly then, and may not have actually had enough time, but as it stands, Blame doing some excellent work in Connector. He's pretty much able to carry Heroic through to that victory, so very good work. We're going to see a bit of an upgrade here. Not a huge one though, we've still got the double mag. G2 will push back to Eco territory. They will buy up a few pistols, a couple of Desert Eagles, a couple of CZs, P250, bit of armor, but no utility whatsoever, so they're probably just going to try and run it somewhere and see if they can actually get any results. Mertz though, with the MP9, going to be all too happy trying on the opponents, and they're pretty much going to line right up for him. He's not able to secure the second kill, although he will do a bit of follow-on damage onto Amanek and KNS there. Amanek takes the MP9 with him. It's got to do something right at this stage. I mean, you don't really have too much more to work with. Rock on the other hand. 7. If he catches out G2 as they go for this rotate there, he might be able to do some great stuff. He's keeping an eye, rather more forward position. Oh no, he won't be able to do anything with it as Jax is able to take off his head completely. That pretty much allows them into this B bomb site. That's more than they ever really could have hoped for, considering what they're running into this with. This grenade coming in from Blame. Does it catch out Almanaker? Does Kobe. And with that, the rest of Heroic are pretty much going to descend upon this side. Jax, he's got the swag. If they turn this against Heroic, it is going to be a little bit of irony, but he gets one kill. They did hear the utility actually hit him there, so they're aware of it. But S-Attack, he can't really do too much here. He actually gets taken out by a jumping kill by Jax there. And that is a fantastic play from G2, considering what they had to work with running into that round. Force comes in. It's got to be for Heroic again. They basically got to decide exactly, or basically talk amongst themselves and find out exactly what actually happened there, because they've pretty much opened the door for G2 to come back and perhaps even out the score. Well, CT weaponry does cost more, so this particular case, if Blame is any indication, they'll likely be going for a bit of a pistol armor buy here. Not too much, but considering what G2 was able to work with that last round, maybe more than enough. In fact, some players opting to just forego it altogether, so really just a whatever you can get away with here, it seems, as far as Heroic's concerned. Yeah, and G2 not necessarily too concerned about moving up through all this. S-Attack gets a kill into Almanac. He actually followed up and get the pistol, sorry, the AK there. I don't know if you actually can. So there's a bit of a skirmish going on between Lucky and the CT defenders. They're just trying to pull a bit of attention off. I think Heroic have actually clued into this, especially the utility flying in onto A. And with that, Seven's actually able to get that AK. That could be big. I don't think they're necessarily going to try for a retake necessarily. Mertz actually taking off Lucky's head altogether. Kenny S is going to find himself in a bit of strife there. He makes the jump, makes a bit of sound as a result of that. Takes out Mertz with a double peek after that. Pretty much means that it is a 2 versus 4 situation. Freiburg moving into the site here. Because of that, you'll know where Shox is. Shox is basically going to get tapped to death there. He's trying to kill... Oh no. Oh no. Well, that's pretty much it. That's exactly how we, we thought it was going to go. But that's a lot of work being done there by Heroic, especially considering what they got. from it. Very minimal investment. They take away a lot of guns from G2, and G2, they don't necessarily have the money needed to buy back into this properly. Heroic on the other side, with a couple of sacrifices being made in the helmets, which, barring the MAC-10, is pretty much going to be a bit nullified anyways. This round is looking quite good for them, especially with that additional utility damage coming in there. Shocks and Jack's going to pick that just a little bit. Mertz gets 1 kill, he gets 2. They wanted to get the trade, but they're not going to be able to do it. Esatang actually drops the bomb there. This leaves Lucky and Armanek with a lot of questions on their mind now. How do they get this bomb back? How do they pretty much regain Arc territory there, especially when you've got grenades coming in like that? Armanek must have been hungry because he ate that nade wholeheartedly. They want to be able to get something here, but this grenade should do it. That's it. Heroic continue their lead over G2. Seems like that pause there was pretty much what they needed. G2 on the other hand, they have to pretty much wait another round before they can buy up properly. Or, they don't even necessarily want to worry about it. They basically buy in, all in now. Heroic might get that 13, they might get that 14. They may be able to stop them at the 15 if this isn't successful right now. Blame hasn't actually spotted Shocks, and Shocks has got his eyes on it. His teammate might as well, but it would basically just creep through toilets here. They're able to push Mertz back quite a bit. He's got the AWP though, so this low health isn't necessarily the end of the world, but if Shocks catches him out as he's throwing the utility, that is a big playmaker gone on the side of Heroic. Freiburg trades him out pretty quickly. But he's flying from all directions after that, trying to anticipate some kind of push from any angle, really. G2, on the other hand, they've left that bomb very far back. Pretty much the round where they want to see if they can try and get some kind of damage there, and Lucky's going to kick off that particular practice. Take it out, Blame. Nabs himself rifle for his troubles. Jax, though, not so lucky against Freiburg. Running back, G2's got the bomb now. They don't have a sight. They don't properly have a sight. This positioning from Heroic on B could be quite troublesome if they decide they want to commit to this. More and more information being gained by Freiburg up towards Upper Park there. As soon as they see this utility roll in, Freiburg doesn't see anyone else. They're going to know something's up. S-Tag has the angle. He takes out Armanek. Straight by Kenny S. They should know that somebody's going to be working around here. Don't know if they actually saw Steven or heard Steven. They didn't, because he's able to take out Lucky in that case. They don't know where this last player is. It is Kenny S with the AWP. Maybe able to get himself 1 kill, but whether he gets another is going to be the next question. Turns it into a 1v1 duel, which he quickly finishes up there. Kenny clutching that one out there pretty much brings G2 back into this. They've been able to pretty much put Heroic into a bit of a tough money situation. Fantastic work from G2. They do want to sacrifice a little bit of their lead. So you've disconnected. My volume stopped. Okay. Well. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, but I've been informed that I should be back now, so let's continue with this. G2, they nabbed themselves that last round, and what a round to nab it was. Pretty much held off Heroic from getting towards that 13-14 score mark. Heroic, though, they don't necessarily want to sit back as this happens. They're forced up quite a bit into this next round. They've been able to get a fair few rifles there, a couple of SMGs. That said, push is being made onto the B side there. Armanek with a MAC-10. He's not wasting any time. Jax with the AK to follow it up. He takes out Steven, who's trying to hide behind barrels there. They get Blame as well. They do. It pretty much means that with, well, now 4 players alive, G2 have a very strong hold on the site. Shox, he's waiting for some kind of rotate there, but both of the Heroic players, the last two, are on their site. Don't know if they've spotted Mert. Seems like they have. Bullets are flying through to try and counteract him. With 55 seconds left, G2 just wants to basically get that bomb planted. Shox, he didn't catch the rotate, but he was able to get a lot of information by moving out of connector towards A. Kennius pretty much stops this from pretty much proceeding any further, though. And G2, they don't get that bomb plant, but they have a very, very strong win that time. And for Heroic, that should pretty much mean for them that they've likely sacrificed that lead. It will more than likely tie up here, but Heroic, seeing good things from them. And those good things, whether a grenade storm, they can, because it doesn't go anywhere near them. If they kept on running, though, that would have been a highlight of mine. That would have been fantastic. But Jax is going to catch him from the side there, and that's it. Spray down's coming in. He almost actually dies to that 1 health left, but otherwise, pretty much getting 4 kills for himself there, so that feels good for him. Going forward, Heroic, they can buy back in here, but they can't get everything they need. They don't have the helmets, not so much a problem considering the AKs and the AWP, but they also don't have the defuse kits. It's time that can be taken away from them. They've got the utility though, that was pretty much the trade-off. Will it be enough? So far it's doing a little bit of work. Bit of damage being taken by Shox and Jax there. Flame, he cops a fair bit of it himself though, just in order to be able to do that. Shox gets himself killed by a connector there. Look at this, they're not leaving anything to chance. They're not making assumptions when they push. G2, NES more specifically, pretty much make sure that angle is checked. With 2 kills onto the CT side this early on, G2 have the luxury of being able to basically slow this down from here on. Heroic, they don't have as much utility, so it can be burnt out of them pretty well. That's exactly what G2 is looking to achieve here by throwing a bit of their own without necessarily committing to it. No peaks following up, any flashes or anything like that. They want to try and bait Heroic into doing something, even if it is purely just using that utility that they don't really have to throw away just yet. The middle has been made there to the B site, but that is not where G2 is going. They're going to push onto the A side, find it completely undefended. Heroic pretty much looking to save here, but Amanek will take out one. Likely to be traded out, but he's not going to be able to do that. Steven getting killed very quickly after, and Freiberg's lost one life. They know where he is. This is one of those times where you want to hunt, and look at Kenny. Yes, he is. He's basically rabid here, and he will get the prize. That prize is Freiberg. That's it. That has pretty much given G2 a heck of a lot more to work with here. Heroic forcing up into that last one, not so much. There are pistols, a little bit of armor, perhaps a bit of utility. Seeing 3 grenades here, so there's going to be a bit of a stack. In fact, almost certainly, because you have so many of those players running towards that B site. Blame, not the angle he wants to go for. Pretty much just waiting, it seems, for G2 to try and push out of canals there, but it's not going to happen. If they don't use the grenades now, though, they might be able to put them to good use in any kind of retake or exit frag situation. That's going to be the first one to see. Almanac might get his head clean taken off, though. He won't. Just a bit of a light floating down there in canals. Jax and Shox, however, they're on a mission. Walking towards the A sites there, peeking through without using any utility. Blame gets the peek onto Lucky. That provides him with an AK. He's got armor as well to follow it up, so he could actually be a bit of a problem here, especially considering the bomb hasn't completely moved up. It'll be going through Upper Parks, but said, still an angle that they don't want to leave alone. They'll throw the Molotov down there just for that reason. Jax, similar ideas. He's going to be throwing Molotov soon if he doesn't get caught out. Smoke's dissipating to his right there. Oh, the grenade stack comes in, does a fair bit onto Amanek, but it's not able to secure that kill like they want it to. Counter grenade gets in there, does a fair bit of damage onto Heroic. But Jax, he gets caught out there, and actually that last grenade does a lot, securing the kill. This is a 3 versus 5 situation. It's not completely undoable. Heroic, they might be able to get it. Kenny S missing his first shot there. He doesn't miss the second one though. Mertz dies. And oh lord, it's basically down to a Hess attack here. He doesn't have the time, but he does have a very weak Shox. He might be able to secure that kill for himself, but Shox wants to make sure that that warp does not get out. He makes sure of it, but he pays for that with his life. Another pause coming in here. This one has to be a tactical yet again. With this, Heroic have their pretty much their backs against the wall. This is going to be their best chance to really try and bring this best of 3 series into their favor. Is to take out their map pick. So far, G2 is hellbent on not allowing that to happen. Again, best of 3 series. First map pick was Heroics. But push comes onto the A side there. S-Tag has an excellent position here just to try and catch out approaching G2 players. He'll do just that. He almost was able to land a shot into Kenny S as well, but Mertz is basically going to become the next threat after that. Amanek, he runs through the fire just to try and get that kill, and he's going to be able to do that. That said, 2 versus 3 situation. Smoke comes in there just to try and keep Amanek alive. Flame surviving that encounter quickly with Kenny S. Kenny S, he's gotten these 2v1 clutches before. It's all onto him. Lick, it does not work this time though, and Heroic able to bring this back. They're at least able to make this a bit more competitive, but the cost might have been too high. They're not going to be able to buy into this next one properly. We move into this very decisive round between these two sides. Moving forward, we have Swag onto S-Tag there. Long A, but Mertz seemingly in a bit of a bizarro world version of that long hold there. Doesn't matter though, because we are seeing G2 going for another aggressive push onto A. Cost them dearly. Amanek is trying to hold on to the angle there. Mertz gets the grenade kill onto Lucky. It's actually basically split up. These T's, they're not going to be in the best position to try and grab that bomb. They know they've got to try and get some kind of hold here, but Kenny S goes down. Freiburg with an excellent hold as well. This is tied up yet again. 14-14. Overpass being very bitterly fought over at the moment. Heroic, they need it if they want to stand a great chance of actually taking out this best of 3. G2, they want to shut down Heroic as soon as they possibly can. Best way to do it is, of course, taking out this first map pick there, because next map's Cash, it is going to be their pick. G2 will push so far back here, have to use a lot of utility even just to gain ground, which might have already been theirs. Might basically be the T's ground at the start of most rounds on Overpass. Pistols and Orb. That's pretty much going to be the magic maker here for this round. The Mac-10 though, not without its moments. Jax, he has the bomb. He is moving up first. If Mertz looks down this angle, though, and is able to support Blame as they move onto long A, this could be big. Spray comes in. Jax, is he able to actually get the kill? No, that's the bomb separated. Orb shot comes out there, but Mertz is waiting for it. That's a good collateral there, but followed up, we have pretty much Lucky on the CZ. He is in a very bad position. Almost able to follow it up. Yeah, Mertz actually, I believe, yeah, taking out his teammate just to get that kill. So that is pretty much where the F in Blame's name comes from, I guess, in this case. Match is paused yet again. Heroic, they've made it to match point. A lot going into this, though. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears. G2, they have to bring this to overtime. The alternative is basically throwing away a lot of the good work they've put in on this map and just basically throwing it out of their minds and concentrating on the next map and perhaps even the next map after that if they're able to secure cash. G2 got the investment here to follow through. They don't have quite the ground they need yet to really follow it up. Mertz, an advanced position in connector here. He could get caught out pretty bad, especially if he's going to be focusing on that utility. The barrel of the gun might poke out first. Doesn't matter though, as Jax takes out what has been a bit of a force for the side of Heroic. Stavin in a very advanced position here. If he doesn't have his teammates to flash him out, he might have to fall back, and that's exactly what he's going to do. And surely Blame is going to basically be ringing the alarm bells as they move up towards toilets. Doesn't matter though, he gets 2 kills. That's Jackson Armanek gone. Might have taken out Kenny as well. He makes this round viable for Heroic again. Setup is coming out for the A side. Shocks keeping a more reserved position there. He doesn't necessarily want to push out just yet. Freiburg has the angle for him. NES is also clearing out these angles. As soon as they see that people aren't necessarily in those spots, they're gonna peek for it, but it won't matter if you don't get the kill. Shocks is able to trade him out, but S-Tag is pretty much there. 29 seconds left. Lucky, excellent flick there, and it's basically down to a 1 versus 1. It's basically Lucky versus Fresh Blood, the new talent on the side of Heroic. He does get a couple of tags onto Lucky. That basically means that Lucky knows where he is, and that has basically brought our first map into overtime. This is already heating up quite a bit. Almost going to become a matter of endurance, and not just for this map, but for the ones that follow after it. Hello, if you are just joining us between this best of 3 matchup between Heroic and G2. One of the first matches for this event, that is the Dreamhack versus Dallas European qualifier, their closed qualifier. Heroic having just made their way out of the open qualifiers and doing a pretty decent job of it as well. Now up against much stiffer competition here from G2. That's definitely been proven. Heroic's first map pick, Overpass, is just about to jump into overtime. Maps following it though will be Cache, that is G2's pick. And if we make it to map 3, that is going to be Nuke as well. Just waiting for these two sides to ready up here before we jump back into the match. In the meantime, just a couple of quick notes about these two sides. So Heroic has had some good results in the open qualifiers, as I just said. That we're able to beat teams like Eclipse and a chance just to make it through there. They seem to do that comfortably enough. G2 on the other hand, just a week ago, they were facing off against Fnatic at the WESG finals there. Managed to score the win, so with a week's worth of rest, coming off the back of a nice win like that, they are going to be a force to be reckoned with. Here we go, first round of overtime is about to kick off. Both teams able to buy up again, that pretty much resets the economy situation altogether. They have to take everything that they've learnt so far, but of course they may have to make a few changes just to keep this one fresh. With that, we will see Freiburg and Blame double hold on Connector here. Smoke comes in, but they're not going to see anyone else. In fact, this basically has a bit of a joint purpose there. Blame able to keep a bit of a position. Like Jackson Shocks just trying to peek over the smoke themselves. I don't know if they're able to quite do that. There's just the slightest hint there, but that is the smoke dissipating the S tag. He is going to be hearing a lot here, and that's going to be some good information. They don't anticipate him being there, which they do. He is going to get taken out altogether. Steven, he's getting caught out. He does get the spray onto both Shocks, and Jax there is not able to take out Kenny S as well. 3 versus 3 now. Both teams still quite split up across the map, but with 50 seconds left, that's more than enough time for situation placements to change. Arguably a fair bit more presence towards the B site from both teams. Bomb's still quite far back though. Mertz has been a bit of a powerhouse so far. Pretty much going to be able to stop a lot of approaches here. The main difference though being that he's not necessarily going to have the support if he gets caught out, and Lucky, I don't think he actually sees him. He's going to walk right past that altogether. So if Mertz actually looks back towards that, who knows? But the utility's been thrown out there by Kenny, and that's actually caused a bit of a false rotate there from Heroic. And yes, he still gets the kill on Freiburg as well. Bomb plant's going to go down. Not much time left to do that. Blame. Be able to get one kill. He does not. Mertz, at this stage, pretty much has to hope he can get another kill there. Kenny is very wary of these angles. He's not able to get the shot onto Kenny, onto Mertz though. So with that, Mertz actually runs around here. He wants to go for this. He's picked up the orb, so he might be able to do something. Amanek has that orb. So little time left though. This is really burning down. He's got to get some kind of result though. He gets one. Can he actually get the other? If he sticks this, if Almanac isn't able to actually hold down this angle, he might actually have this. Nope, he hops off. Never mind. That first round of overtime goes to G2. Just barely, though. Really could have gone either way at any point throughout that round. The buy-ins come in again. Want to try and get some kind of forward positioning against G2. They want some kind of early advantage to work with. Heroic, they may not be able to find it. G2 is just that little bit extra cautious here. This approach onto Connector might do something. Mertz, he takes out the player towards T-Spawn there, and that's actually forced Blame and Mertz back there. In reaction to this, I don't know if Blame's actually going to hear this. They go for this peek in toilets. Who knows what could happen here? Flame might be able to see the gun barrel. Don't know if Almanac's going to give away anything down there in canals. He might. In the meantime, very precarious position around here. Oh, that's it. Flame will see. You know that somebody else is down there because the stack won't matter those shocks. He gets the pick. He gets the kill. Mertz has to get out of this somehow. He's got to reposition himself, but he won't. He's flashed. Kenny, yes, there with the extra flank cover there. Takes out Freiberg. Got this A site. Stavin. Esatag, what do you do here? How do you bring this one back? You've got one flash, you've got a mostly locked off A site, and it seems you've got hell raining in above you as well with that grenade. Try and get something going here. This is your map, you have to find some way back. The boost. They're trying to look over the fence here, but G2 holding back quite a bit. That bit of utility at least spells out where one player is, but perhaps not the rest. The bomb positioning, though, Esatag gets an excellent kill into Armanek, and if he's able to hold this, which he's not, it pretty much becomes a matter of whether Stavin can actually follow this up with a kill. Does he get it? It's basically a quick duel between these two. J-Fox does go down. He's got the kit. He'll get the defuse. That's it. That's a much-needed round for Heroic. Just being able to tie this up, being able to keep pace, that may be just enough to work with here. We said that with E2, not necessarily going to have as much time to really think over these rounds as they did before. Mid-round, falling at least a little bit apart there. With Stavin being able to step up, might be able to bring back spirits for Heroic. Stavin, he's got a forward positioning here. The flank comes in. Esatag's also going to join in the fun there. He gets a lot of kills there. Actually capturing a lot of G2's attention. And oh no. Kenny S, he was flashed. He couldn't really do anything to really stop that Mertz. Absolute devil with the AWP here. He's going to be the only one on B, but if he suspects that they're coming, and he gets the shadow to warn him, he's not able to land the shot there. He actually takes out Lucky after the utility's thrown there. Almanek just able to work around this. It's a very dire situation for him to be in. Still a lot of utility from these CTs. If they use this wisely, they can actually catch out Almanek quite well altogether. But Esatag wins the duel, and that's it. Heroic winning 2 of their rounds on the CT side. This first overtime. Say first, we don't know exactly what's going to happen yet. Given the course this map's taken so far, it has been a very, very decent struggle back and forth. We are just waiting for our players to ready up again. So whilst we do have the break, just a bit of a shout out to CappingTV as well. And I recommend that you follow Twitch channel here and of course Twitter as well. There's a bit of a wide selection of content going on, whether it be CS:GO, PUBG, TF2 of course as well actually. But me, I'm hearing in my ears. You're joined by myself, Devons. You can also follow me on Twitter. But I can recommend that we turn our attentions back to the game, as both sides have readied up. Who were able to provide some quite strong results in the first half. That was when they're on the CT side. Coordination being quite a winning factor there. Actually made this this game looked like it wasn't going to be nearly as competitive as it's turned out to be there. Back to their old bag of tricks. 2 advanced players trying to get control of Connector, make sure that party is not a party. Almanac, he's got his eyes on Connector, but he can't really see too much outside of that. Freiberg is going to hear this smoke coming down. Perhaps he will keep an eye out for Freiberg. He does die. Almanac jumps down, but I believe he was actually a little bit flashed already. They know exactly where Blame is. Blame doesn't care. He's going to throw a grenade and also take a bit of damage off of Lucky as well. Basically chasing all these rascally CTs out of his domain. Rogue, they gain themselves an early advantage as we just go to this minute left. To repositioning across the map. Perhaps hoping they might be able to catch out some unwary T's, but Shock's been in this position before, and Heroic, they've caught him out there. Will he be able to surprise them this time, though? Shox is going to hear these scopes, and the flash will come in. That takes out a much-needed player from the side. Heroic, they're going to follow it up with some decent kills there. Kenny, he's the one who's got to try and make something of this. He's got full health. Got a few bits and pieces to work with here, but oh no, I don't know if he's actually spotted Steven. He will. Jumps around the corner. Oh no, here's the thing though. Blame hasn't actually been spotted yet, so he's going to come around behind him. Could have gone for the knife, but the man's a professional. He decides to get the kill with the AK instead, and that's it. Heroic are building up their lead here. G2, they have to figure this out. They have to figure it out quick. So this is pretty much it. Overpass is done and dusted. We'll move on to cash after that. Again, more aggression from G2. Not enough to really force them out of any positions. Perhaps, maybe, keep them just a little bit further out of the connector otherwise. Steven's just going to hang out on the other side of it anyways, but it's something that they think they don't have to worry about. At least a little bit less pressure there. A flash, not necessarily going to be enough to really catch anyone off, as Steven's holding quite a bit back. In fact, all of Heroic, they're basically going for this, almost this kind of a line defense situation that they've had before. They just like to pretty much just get control of Playground there, and use that as kind of a launching point for the rest of the utility to go throughout the rest of these locations, whether it be basically party, toilet, low park, upper park. But that we'll see. A bit of utility use towards canals there. That's more just to try and divert the attention to G2, or to see what they can get away with is unseen, but Jax puts an end to that nonsense, gets a kill onto Freiberg, and with these still slowly approaching T's up towards A, this approach might have been stalled completely. That's a lot of stuff they don't necessarily have to work with there, losing Freiberg. The utility comes in, but there's such a build-up in toilets there from G2, they're pretty much just going to eat these approaching T's alive, and Blame, last one left, but what can he really do here? You can hope that he gets one of them flashed, but it doesn't quite work out there. G2, they may have their groove back. Gonna see another pause coming in here. Heroic having their approach staggered so much, and round being quite important for them, they are gonna have to think this one through quite a bit. A moment where a lot of practice towards basically not being stressed out, staying mindful about what's going on, training the mind, if you will, that's basically where this comes into play. Something that G2 perhaps been working on. Heroic as well. We've got a lot of experience on the Heroic side. You've got Freiberg. You've got Mertz. Best tag as well. So wary of these things. This is it. This could be the moment where we see second overtime, or we move on to the next map. Heroic Heroic going for a very similar setup again. They still just want to get control of Park. Playground, sorry. They can do that is going to be an interesting question. Kenny S, though, not able to see S attack behind those bushes. Be taken out of context, but we won't this time. We're going to have a look and see if Almanac can be the deciding factor here. Mertz gets a kill onto Lucky on side as well. So Almanac, he's been locked out. He narrowly survives that shot. He wants to go for the repeak with the utility, and that's not going to work for him. Shocks, he has to do something. He'll die, though. Jax firing those rounds. They know exactly where he is. They've actually taken somebody through smoke. That's it. With that, Heroic, they're able to take out this first map. That's kind of critical for them, considering it was definitely going to be an important thing that they actually win their map pick. With that, we'll move into perhaps something that's a lot more familiar for G2. That'll be Cash. Coming up next. Be on CappingTV, so please stay tuned. We'll hopefully be back shortly, and with some more fantastic CS like you just seen. Hello and welcome back to the best 3 series between Heroic and G2. This is for the Dreamhack Masters Dallas European Closed Qualifier. The second map, Heroic taking out their pick. That was Overpass. Got it in overtime. We're now over to Cash on. It's pretty much going to be G2's pick. But with this, we're going to see a lot of the strengths that Heroic were able to show. Our first map, just a few significant ones being taken away from them. Pass having longer lanes to work with there. Does mean that the AWP can get some decent play in. However, Mertz, with some of the close shots he was pulling off, not too bad. He's going to be in mid though, and he takes off Shock's head completely. He cops a fair bit of damage himself, so he's not going to be able to escape that one as he runs back. Mid control goes to the side G2. We have Freiburg, Stavin there, wanting to hold on to this A side as much as possible. Stavin, he's not able to secure the shot. And Blame will take out Amanek, but that's it. That is pretty much this A side done and dusted. They'll get the plant. It's a lot for G2 to work with. Grenade goes out. Wary of Essa tag. Blame might be able to catch out somebody, but he's been spotted now. So Lucky in his position, maybe able to hold out for quite a while and really just completely nullify any approach here. Burns a lot of time trying to get onto the site. Some utility comes in, but will it be enough? Blame, the flank from Forklift not working, and Kenny wastes no time taking down S-Tag as well. Get themselves a rather handsome looking first round there. 3 players left alive, lots of money built up with that bomb plant. Heroic. The other side of that equation, they will be buying quite a bit into this one. Some saves being put into place here. Blame with 350, but more importantly, Mertz with $1,000 there left over. Makes sense. He will want that AWP later on. Stavin, it's going to be the sole A player. Stack favoring B more so than anything else. He's actually spotted somebody here. And yes, they might get a bit of a rotate going in. Squeak is pretty much prepped there. Lucky might burst open from that at any point. Mertz not knowing whether anyone actually has the mid control or not. Gotta be wary of that as well. Flashes come in. Might stall G2 for just a little bit. That smoke may do that just as well. With a minute left, they've used a lot of utility just to hold off those couple of slight pushes there. So as G2's concerned, this is still part of the plan. They're going to burn out a bit more utility, be able to save a fair bit of their own for the post-plant situation. Stavin, on the other hand, needs to land these shots quite true. Already burnt out of position there, which makes that all that more difficult. The rest of the T players are moving on to the side there. He gets 1, he's not going to get 2. If they do catch him out, which they will, Amanek getting that kill. They've pretty much got an almost uncontested A side there. S-Tag. Pretty much under the hail of bullets, will eventually go down. They know somebody's likely in the smoke there, and they'll just whittle Freiburg down as well. Lucky, almost the one being dead, but Blame, almost taking his teammate's head off, actually just takes out Jax instead. Amanek and Shocks both with MAC-10s pretty much make this very untenable. Whether Blame was able to get one player there was pretty much Shocks who was going to be able to poke out from the side there and finish that one off. Not the worst situation for Heroic. Still try and hold down the G2 economy here. And do so just ever so slightly there. G2 realizing, of course, that Heroic did invest quite a bit more into that last round there. Can still work with these MAC-10s. Buy up a few rifles around him. Nothing too crazy though, just the Galils. And pretty much pull off stuff like that. Shocks is pretty much playing DM here. He's running around. Mertz isn't wasting any time though. He does get a couple of kills, but his time pretty much over. Peeks again. Lucky is there. Pretty much just takes that clean off. More importantly, G2, they carry those rifles forward there, so it's pretty much going to be upgrade time regardless for Shocks and Jax there. So they got just a little bit of extra use out of those MAC-10s. It's not the worst thing. And as far as Heroic's concerned, all those extra kills there, with the minimal investment, is quite good. In fact, Mertz, what he was able to do, is able to basically supplement this orb with use kit and a bit of utility as well, so that's quite good for him. Gonna have a decent run of this mid control there, but that Freiberg, Essetag, burnt down in checkers. It's not even where G2 is mostly focusing here. Stavin, he's gonna have a bit of a time soon, but Blame's there to back him up. Be able to hold on to this A site quite well. Now things are quiet. The time when this utility is being set up. He's entirely certain where the other's going to go. They throw a bit of utility out there, but that said, Shox with an amazing push through that smoke there. Not only be dead, but he's able to secure something. Amanek is actually able to take out S-Tag through the mid-rotate as well. Mertz is mad. He's getting kills. He's basically going to try and take out Jax there. He'll do just that. Might have been able to take out the head of Armanek as well, but he ducks down just in time. That hop across from truck there pretty much signals the retreat. They don't necessarily want to push this too much. It's having a chance to reposition here. Gotta do something. Freiberg being able to take out Armanek there is quite important. That flank could have pretty much spelt the end of their attempt to save here. Shox, on the other hand, he has low health, but he can push just a little bit. He somehow makes his way out of that, but it's actually the peek from Vent from Kenny S that's going to be the real problem. They know that Moats is going to have to be around here somewhere. Kenny S is likely to find him soon. In fact, he does just peek from there. Oh no. We see the knife coming in there, but the actual conservative option gets pulled out after that. Shock's not able to use that gun, however, and Kenny S just takes him out with the Glock. And that's huge. Denying Mertz that op is going to have to be a bit of a priority for G2, given how devastating he was with it last round, or last map rather. Being able to do that basically means that G2 have just that bit more comfortable of a run on this map. Seeing as how Heroic have had to basically pistols, bit of armor again. They're looking to shake things up a bit. You'll actually see Freiberg here in garage. He's pushing it a little bit. I don't know if he's actually going to be able to get anyone. He's not going to have quite the angle for it. Flame, probably reporting back to HQ, basically saying there's a bit of utility onto this. Armanek, he anticipates this. He gets one kill. Can he actually get the third? That would have been amazing, but S-Attack finally puts a stop to that. Jax, excellent first peek out onto... He basically taken off the head of the truck player. S-Attack, because he's actually able to get that kill, Armanek gets the AK. He's able to fall back here. There's a lot of time for G2 to hunt. Perhaps why S-Attack is taking a more perhaps open position here. Thinks about it a little bit more, decides to hold back. G2 on the other hand, whether it's out of a bit of concern for giving weapons away or not, they're not actually hunting anything at the moment. Could be argued, S-Tag, he already has the rifle. Perhaps you want to follow that up. Same time, your T-side economy, whilst it's easier to build up than CT side, things just as much when you lose it. Bomb goes off, G2, their 5th round in a row here. What is quite a strong start for them. Heroic buy up again. They've got 2 ops now. S-Tag taking the secondary there. Let's see the first one. Much more wary of that boost. Rightfully so. Popped a lot of hell from it. Shock's actually taken pretty much the brunt of that grenade there. He'll be dropped down to 43 health. Stavin is making a lot more noise than we've seen from previously. Excellent spray down through Squeak, but the T's, they're already moving onto the side here, and they're likely to catch him off, which is exactly what they do. Jax, he anticipates the rotate there, takes out Mertz, also able to take out Freiberg as well. That's it, they've basically been able to divide and conquer here. Stag, he's still got the orb. That is not the gun to take onto a site to retake it. Pretty much once those exit frags Blame, likewise, scraping around a little bit. Exact same reason. He pretty much wants to try and deny some kind of weaponry going forward from G2. On the other hand, if they're not entirely wary that somebody could be in this T-spawn position, it's S-Attack. He might get himself a kill, and he does just that. Amanek is there. The next peak that's coming out, though, is going to be looking right at him. Knows that, so he decides to give up that position. Any weaker, and G2 might have had a bit of an issue there, but have a pause. Heroic likely to be the ones calling it. They need basically get that extra bit of time to really think about what's going on here. They're able to get a few kills, few early kills onto G2 here, and they have had a few moments where they've had good holds. Not quite enough. Nothing to really secure around. The A site seems to be a weaker point. G2, they don't necessarily go for that that middle control early on. They might push for it mid-round, but really that A site that tends to cop it later on. Of course, worth mentioning that this is actually Amonek's debut match for G2 as well. Should mention that sooner. So with this and that first map, he's made pretty decent first impression so far. They weren't able to take the first map, but performance was quite good. To knowing that was pretty much where they'd be making a lot of changes. On the side of Heroic, they made some changes themselves. Stronger A hold here. He's not being tested. Mertz, however, gets KennyS. He tries to get a peek onto him from the boost. Gonna get too much, but because he's had to fall back here, Max and Shox might be able to get that much needed real estate that they're looking for. Tag. Here's those shots coming into Zed there. He might go for the peak, but that gives up a lot. Somebody's already watching that angle, he's pretty much dead. It's taking cues from how these other rounds have gone. Mid-round situation is basically one where they will move towards this A site. S-Tag, he does get the peak at just the right time. Mertz, before the smoke could go down, takes out Lucky. I don't think... Well, Jax, he does actually anticipate the boost, but not completely. He only takes a couple of shots at it. Blame. I think he's been spotted out. He has. He looks away at just the wrong moments there. Jax doing a heck of a lot of work here on this A site. Brings it back to a 2v2. Utility, though. Might be able to do something, but that is Freiberg gone. Actually seen S-Attack or not is going to be the next question. Jack's positioning here and how he's creeping out there pretty much says that they have. Out the defuse kit, though, not much less time to work with. Back through highway, but he's running here. Quick peek from Amanek. Gives G2 their 7th round, and this is much more convincing than Cash. Basically, you're running away with this. In some cases, I mean, Mertz is get a bit of work done here. Parts of Heroic, they are getting shut down fairly often. There's a healthy respect for Heroic side there, but Mertz, it's an excellent whiff. Sorry, flick onto Shox there, and might actually stall any kind of approach onto A. I mean, Lucky, he's got to be wary of this. He still wants to try and get something done here. But without the support, he's not going to be able to do that. KennyS dispatches of Mertz finally in mid. There's one menace gone. Need to get rid of the rest of them. Heroic are divided. Blame is going to be burnt out of this position. The smoke goes down. I don't know, that was a very quick one and anticipating it. Lucky actually gets the shot through the smoke there. I think he just barely saw him around the edges of it. Stavin, after taking that shot, he's pretty much been spotted, so a lot of his surprise advantage is gone. He'll get one kill onto Jax. Gonna get another though. He's gonna have to anticipate that somebody's gonna be peeking around for him soon. Fork player though, Amanek is able to secure that kill. This is still quite... Until that point, it was still possible, but Freiburg calmly shooting towards Z there. Won't get anyone, but I'll be able to creep around. Going through his B site, going through tree room. Sure, I've got the angle covered. Kenny S does have that angle covered, so if Berg wants to push that, basically, I mean, you'd think they'd get killed straight away. Tension's not off him though. He's going to push around the corner, and that is going to be enough. Walks on crosshairs of Kenny S, and that's it. G2's reign continues. Get another pause here. Likely again from Heroic. Path has certainly gone towards G2. Continuing winning streak here, rounds 8-0. Heroic brought up into this one after pause, but will it be enough? They still pretty much have to make sure that even though they've actually brought up here, they're able to do something with it, and G2 has just been so good at nullifying Heroic regardless of whether they've had guns or not. Grenade. Stavin won't do much there. The squeak opens though, they're going to throw another one in. Lucky tries to jump over the grenade, that doesn't quite work. However, take a look. Spending so much time putting that pressure on that A side means the bomb can move on to the B side here, and it's not likely to get too much attention, not soon. But Freiburg, he's waiting for this. He's got to get the cross. He sees one, he sees two, he shoots out but doesn't actually catch anyone. He's already waiting for the rotate to try and catch him in mid. Actually, Lucky, who's going to be the amazing one here in that he gets blame. Gets caught out by mid though, that's a rotate gone. Brings us back to a 3 versus 3 situation. We don't have a defuse kit. Any burning of time, like that Molotov into heaven there, is going to count for quite a bit. Being ready. Rook will push out of tree room there into the waiting arms of Amanek, who actually waits for this. He's actually just going to hang out in the smoke there, but it doesn't matter. Jack's mostly happy to take out the Rogue team there, but Amanek is able to basically make use of it as soon as it's down to S-Tag. That's we'll have just pistols coming out of Heroic here. More of a focus towards B, 4-man stack onto it, with information being gathered by Stavin there. Does make a bit of noise, but there's nobody really around here. And this is where we actually see a lot of early advantages, or early ground taken on mid here. Jax, I don't know if he's going to get caught out by this. S-Attack certainly will, though. Oh no. Stavin is finally able to secure that kill. Kenny S does get another on Mertz there. That was in Z. Actually managed to pull this stack off of B. Got that good reactive mid-round decision-making process. Very crucial, this matchup, but Heroic, on the other hand, this is not their map, of course. I've not been able to play it that often, nonetheless, with this current lineup either. Stavin joining just a couple of days ago. Blame, I believe, was a couple of months ago. 2 new additions. Freiburg Actually going to be hunting him this time. It makes sense. You basically want to stop him from being able to take anything going forward. Definitely credit to G2, they're able to find these holes in Heroic's catch defense there. They know when to get aggressive. They're starting to get a lot more confident with this as they basically win more and more rounds. This attack, though, able to stop Mertz from copping it just that much sooner. Allows him to actually rotate through here, and this is some kind of advantage for Heroic here, given where these Ts are going to be setting up for next. Oh no, Mertz from a headshot, he does stop Kenny S. He doesn't anticipate another play in checkers though, and that'll be Shock's chance to shine. And with that, players coming back in here won't really have a chance to do any more damage than that. Versus 2, they've got the defuse kits this time. It's a critical difference compared to before, and this grenade flying in as well is going to bring pretty much, yeah, both Ts down to quite a low level of health there. They have AKs, so land those first shots, land them on the head, is going to be pretty much it. Flashes have to be quite good. The smoke as well might be able to do something here, but hard to say. Don't move soon. Could be quite the terrible situation for them. They catch one. That's Armanek. Oh no, that's one more player gone. Blame, he takes the pre-fight shot there, but he is able to get the second one, and that's it. Heroic finally land themselves on the scoreboard with the B-site retake. Looking for that AWP, but they're going to find it, which is just a little bit of silver lining here, especially considering whilst victory, not exactly the one they wanted, they're still going to be weak money-wise. As for G2, they've basically just been building bank. Jax even seems to be anticipating that some of the players on Heroic might not have a lot to work with. After that, he's actually just going for the Mac 10. Either that or it's a very cheeky no respect play there. But with 4 rounds left to go in this first half, Heroic, they have to... I mean, 1 round is certainly not enough. And 5, that's workable, but it's still not the happiest position to be working in. G2, though, they want to rush this. They basically want to throw any plans of Heroic out the window. They'll take out Steven. They'll take out Mertz as well. Blame on the side from Truck there. He's able to get 1 kill in return. Ryberg might be able to get something here, but he's actually approaching this more the USP than anything else, because, yeah, he's not in a great position to do that. That's it. The reset's pretty much going to come in here. With the new system, it's not the biggest reset, of course, but, yeah, it's certainly a bitter pill to swallow, especially after you'd finally managed to get yourself around after G2 getting 10 in a row. G2, I'm still going to rub some salt in this wound. Gonna hunt. That might work out in S-Tag's favor there, and it does. He gets the AK. But they're actually gonna follow this up with any play on the vent. They will not. And Heroic find themselves in a bit of an interesting position. They can drop a couple of rifles here, but they're gonna have some players forcing up around it. G2, on the other hand, they're still pretty much just in Moneytown like always. It's in mid. He gets Jax, but through white box. Jax isn't slowing down though. 26 health or not. part of why G2 has been able to bully this heroic side. Freiburg, he gets 2 surprisingly. He's down to 5 health after that first one. Mertz is actually already able to rotate here, and he'll take down Lucky in checkers. That's bomb down. Ammonak's able to quickly recollect it, but these other T players, they're moving up onto the side there. Mertz standing in the flames. Might be able to get something here. Ammonak's time was pretty much running down, though, as the rotates came in. But he gets hang on to that orb. That's quite good. Heroic, they get themselves second round. They got to watch out for that reset situation yet again. G2, on the other hand, maybe they don't want to play this one as aggressively as they have. It's taken a while for Heroic to really be able to pretty much stun them on the nose and stop these pushes. In fact, Heroic's actually going for their own aggression. Flash comes in. Jax is able to take out S-Tag. He actually takes a lot of health off of Blame. Stavin. Short firefight going on either side of the door there. He will be the victor. Lucky goes down. Blame, he's actually moving up towards Squeaky, but Kenny S is pretty much there waiting for it. Armanek, on the other hand, he's got a bit of room to work with. He's made his way into checkers. He's got Mertz to contend with. Mertz, he's been good, but at times, if he doesn't know that somebody's actually in checkers already, he stays scoped in, and that's actually been a bit of a point that's worked against him. I think Armanek might actually catch him out here if he just goes for that peek. Oh, he almost takes out Mertz. Mertz wanting to go outside of that compromised position there, actually ends up walking into Armanek's bullets in the smoke. CT situation. It's a retake for the CTs. The bomb should be going down. There he goes. It's for Starvin and Freiburg. Flash, they got an incendiary. They're pretty much relying on that to allow them to get some kind of space through here. Armanek, he gets one. Can he get the second one? He does! G2 still very dominant on this T side on Cash. And that is just a little bit crushing for the side of Heroic. Very different tale to what we saw on Overpass. This time at G2 on their pick are able to run circles around them. Key difference here, we will get a counter boost. Don't know if they're going to be anticipating this though. Stavin gets one kill. That might draw their attentions away. Blame, he spots Bomb. Also able to drop down to Jax. Lucky might actually just take him out here. It's actually Armanek from the side. Someone from Garage. This is it. Heroic, they might be able to get a third round here. It's not much. Anything they can get here will help out. Shadow gives away Armanek's position. Lucky. Be a play of a lifetime if he's able to get this, but they know where he is. Anticipating it. Stavin pretty much has the crosshairs waiting for him. That is it, 12-3. G2 basically taking off here. Not leaving Heroic with much room to feel good about this map at all. But we move on to the second half. Momentarily, I'm just going to wait for our players to ready up here. If you're just joining in, this is G2 versus Heroic, best of 3. This is for Dreamhack Masters Dallas, European Closed Qualifier. G2 lost first map, although it was Heroic's pick. Their pick now. The scoreboard should certainly indicate that. And they've been able to run away with it so far. Hello and welcome back as we dive into the second pistol round on Cash here. Cash. Heroic. Need to do something that is just that. If they want to turn this map around, G2 with a very dominant showing in the first half there on the T side. Name of the game for this round. The A site, Heroic's sitting up just outside of it. They've got a bit of utility. They're pretty much just going to commit to it. This is a fairly standard approach here, just dropping these smokes in, trying to pretty much lock off a fair few parts of the site. Kenny S still on it though. He's going to have to buy time for his teammates because it's pretty much going to be a retake for G2. He gets 1 kill. He gets 2. Can he get 3? He can't. S-Tag finally puts him down. Mertz gets a decent shot, but Lucky has one. Just in kind for him. Lucky, he gets 1 kill. That's it. Heroic are down to their last player. S-Attack there. He gets 1. I don't know if he's going to be able to get the other. Amanek seemingly has multiple lives there as he's able to survive that one. That's it. G2, they get the second pistol as well. That's it. 13-3. Frog's basically got to find a way to pull the handbrake on this somehow, but haven't been able to find a way to do that just yet on the T side. Arguably a bit more difficult. They know, it seems, default setups for it. G2, a lot more experience on this map. Just going to be ready for it. And with that aggression as well, Jack's displaying it right now, just looking to hang just inside B main, behind the box. Waiting for somebody to make a move. Until he comes out, he gets 1. He'll get a second one. That's it. He basically wants to become the ATM here. He's going to be spitting out money in the form of bullets. He can't get a third kill though. And that will hand the SMG across there. Mertz, fantastic shot. Takes out Shocks there. That's it. Getting a bomb plant could be viable here. Got the rifle. Galil, getting that back is quite important. Look at this. Minute left. Not too keen to fall onto that B site yet. The rotates are coming in. In fact, Amanek getting that position in check is there. He might be able to catch the flank pretty well. Berg's falling back almost all the way through to T-spawn. He wants to catch out any would-be flankers. I don't know, Mertz had a chance to see the shoulder there. Or elbow poke out from Amanek. He didn't actually do that though. Attention seems to be a little bit elsewhere. Oh, that's good though. Vent pop draws the attention elsewhere. Amanek's not able to follow it up with a kill though, but he'll do that quite shortly after. And he has to be waiting for the cross there. There's not going to be any return kills there, no trade outs there. That's it. G2 pretty much get that one step closer towards securing this. Heroic have to really decide if they want to play for overtime here. They fought back really hard on overpass just to get that overtime victory before. It's not like they aren't used to it. It's just you're basically matching one team's stamina against another. And G2, they're used to these long hauls, and that could be exactly the kind of experience they use to pretty much shut out Heroic entirely. Fox will keep an eye out on this boost position there. He does a lot of damage. He actually takes out a Blame. I don't know if he's going to get Mertz. Mertz finally connects the shot there. Fired one gun, but the rest of G2 pretty much pushing up around this. Lucky getting that angle onto Mertz there. And you have Jax as well, taking on the side of Garage. He's moving into it. He's going to catch out Freiberg. And now it's just Stavin, who's probably just going to get caught out right about now. Oh no, Jax. He thought about it. Playing with this food there, it seems. Match point to G2. 15-3, Heroic. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say they're probably just gonna be looking to get this map out of the way. Move on from there. They did save for this bye to try and work towards overtime, but that is 12 rounds in a row that they have to win on G2's map pick. That's not looking too likely. keep a position towards the back there. Steven will finally take out Jack's. Jack's curiosity finally getting the better of him. Can't blame him though, it's worked so well for so many rounds. As for his teammates though, quick peek into A main and perhaps a bit of a setup on boost here, which means that any A approach will be a bit of a bloodbath. Amanek, if he gets caught with this incendiary out, it'd be quite bad too. He sees the flash coming through, they're going to be waiting for this. They'll get one, will they get two? Shox being the only one to actually get the return kill there. And that's it, B-side control going to Heroic. G2, they know they've got this lead. The main goal should be just to get those exit frags. This round's pretty much going to be going towards Heroic. But if they can just keep the guns out of the hands of them for just 1 or 2 rounds there, that might be just the disadvantage Heroic has that G2 needs to work with here. And oh no, Kenny S. Barrel of his gun will undo him there, just poking out enough. I'll blame to see him. Lucky though, new news on living without being able to get any exit frags. A couple of drops will have to come out here if they want to keep Shox competitive in this one. Jax perhaps as well, unless he just wants to go for a bit of a lesser buy there. Heroic, if they can follow up here, they might be able to build up that T-side economy. There we go, the call is in. 2 AWPs coming out from G2 here. They basically want to shut this down completely. They're going to be able to do that is another question entirely. Heroic have the utility to pretty much burn these players out of position. To do things like get this mid control here. But Kenny is too content to leave it alone. He's still watching it from quad up in the A site. Basically going to be Heroic's plan for the meantime. Take a bit of ground. See what G2 does. Heroic's getting quite wary, or weary if you will, of these flanks coming out of G2. See Blame there, he's expecting somebody to go for it. Namanek might have been that person. Jax, he's below this vent. Steven might actually get caught out by him. He's not going to contest that one too much. That might be the right move here. This positioning though from Lucky could be what they need if they don't look for it, but he has been seen. He might get caught out from a rotating play. He actually ducks just in time to not get his head taken off by the AWP there. Kenny, he is dispatched as well. Was looking to be a prime contender just to hold on to a lot of this ground, a lot of these crossing points on the side there, but he's not going to be able to do that now. Amanek, though, coming in from the side, takes out Mertz. G2 got the rounds to play with. This is a more favorable position than last time. They could go for it. Oh, Jax, he's pushed through smoke. He takes a fair bit of health off Blame there, but doesn't get the kill. Freiberg, it's 2 health in the smoke. His real choice there is to basically try and catch Jax off guard there, but the game's up. Blame though, oh no, he gets taken out. Freiberg, going from 2 health to 1, he actually gets the kill as well. My lord, I don't think he's actually gonna... No, he does! Okay, he just barely gets out with the AWP as well. That's some great work from him. Heroic needing moments like that to get themselves a bit fired up. With that, they finally put G2 onto a bit of an eco buy here. Some pistols bought there, but they've seen the mid presence. They know they're going to try and run through it. Basically just down to Kenny. He's pushed through. He might actually... Yeah, he does get 1 kill, but... I guess... Mertz? Excuse me, Mertz. Not sure that's legal. But you did it anyway. That's pretty amazing. Again, Heroic, I mean, those... It's an anti-eco. They've basically kept level-headed in it, and they've gotten a lot of kills for it. But even small victories like that can go towards building up the kind of mindset and tempo and momentum that you need. But look at this, they're running it again. USPs and nothing but this time, and Jax will actually get 1 kill. That's it, basically. The rest of them will go into the grinder. It's one of the things you could argue is a good idea to do when you have so many rounds to work with. It's not necessarily just keep on forcing up and try to work with lesser buys there, but actually just use the rounds to build up the economy. And see, that's what G2's done here. So it's, yeah, that 5-man rush with the USPs, nothing else wasn't really going to work. Look at what they have to work with this time. 2 AWPs, rifles, utility. That is quite good for them. On Heroic, though, this is pretty much where things start to get a bit more difficult again. Change of positions from G2 might be able to catch out these Heroic players. Shocks just outside of Garage in mid. Now, Heroic, because they're holding back so much, they're not able to get a huge amount of information here. Early picks or anything like that either. Don't use this utility. In fact, Shocks, he is going for it. His position in Garage here, if they move past him, he would do something terrible. In fact, he's actually going to move a bit further out from there as well. Oh no, Mertz, he's not going to expect this, but Shocks, he turns around at the wrong time, and he's not able to get the peek onto mid either. Oh no. Shocks doesn't actually shoot, so they still don't know that he's there. He can still utilize this position quite well. He's going to wait as long as he possibly can, but look at this. Oh no, he's got 2 players ready for him there. That's amazing. S-Tag and Freiberg are gone. Bombs down. That's it. It's now on to Steven and Mertz. What do they do though? Steven goes down. He actually gets collateral. They're going to be looping around him. Mertz has basically a fight of his life here. 9 seconds. That's it. G2 should have this map. That is it. Cache, however you want to call it. It's over. We'll be moving towards map 3. That'll be Nuke. Again, if you've just joined in, this is just the second map of this best of 3 series. G2 with a much more dominant showing on their pick than Heroic had. For theirs, that was Overpass first up. But please stay tuned. We'll be going to a quick break. After that, we'll be hopping into Nuke. And we'll finally see which of these 2 sides will be able to take out that W. Hello and welcome back to map 3 between Heroic and G2. This time we're on Nuke. Boy howdy. This is going to be a wild ride. First map certainly was, going into overtime. Second map was a bit of a faster affair there. But Heroic pretty much had that win condition getting that first map. What they can do on Nuke here is yet to be seen though against the likes of G2. Moving into pistol round. Opting to go for the side of the T's there. Sorry. Restarting the round there. Oh yes. There we go. That'll be a live match, and that's how we know it's live. That's Heroic. Hopefully, I mean, we've got to look at some silver linings here. That last map was pretty quick. Maybe that's allowed them to conserve some energy for Nuke. G2, however, they seem to be just getting warmed up. The death machine, it's spun up. We're taking it for a ride. Freiburg takes out shots, though he almost manages to get another kill onto Kenny S there. But Frenchmen, they pretty much rout him, and that is it. With that, we'll have a bit more real estate to work with here. Mertz, speaking of real estate, pushes towards the outside there, but the action is not where he is. Let's move down towards the B site. Max is wary of the flank coming through, but Mertz isn't taking any chances himself until he just decides to run with it. Flame, Esatag, Stavin. Gotta be the ones to try and bring this back. Esatag, pretty much happy to do it by himself. 2 kills there on Dominic and Jax. Provides Heroic with an early lead. That first round, much better than how they started things off last time, so small blessings. G2, on the other hand, they only score themselves a couple of kills. They're not able to get the bomb plant either, so they're not able to force up nearly as much. Bomb coming into Squeaky there will blast it all clean off. The utility being thrown onto it after pretty much makes that bad idea. Push is out onto A. 2 players will make it through the vents there. They might be able to score themselves a quick plant. Just that. Plant has been achieved there. Anything they can do after this is pretty much going to be golden for them. Kills, anything like that, you can name it. And yes, wanting to run past the vent player there, Freiburg, but he'll get killed after. And this smoke is pretty much going to tell me exactly where he is. The bullet's peeling through it. Jax is not going to be able to stop this. That extra few shots that he takes there, that burst, pretty much going to give this up. Fuse comes in, they'll catch him after. Bad news. That is not a good economy make. Slight hesitation there from Heroic, you may say, but at the same time, if calculated, that basically means they're taking the money factor of this much more into account. Keeps G2 a little bit more reserved, a little bit more modest in their purchases. Esatag. Oh no, he's actually able to catch Lucky on the cross there. Stavin is pretty much waiting. We'll get the spray down, gets 2 players. Kenny S, though, finally stops that from getting out of control. These rotates here that they're going to be watching for. They assume Kenny's still going. Let's see Z, they might be able to drop on him, but that's not going to do the job. Minute left. They've got to go for the plant at some point. They're basically allowing these CTs to set up there. In fact, that plant was purely just to bait out a response, so Phineas could work with it. 4 health. But the job is done. Here's Mertz. He doesn't have to hear or worry about him anymore because he's dead. Freiburg breaks a window. He wants to try and take their attention somewhere else. Go smoke. This could be what he needs. Goes for it, but Kenny S has the angle, able to stop him from getting that sneaky defuse there, and G2 able to stop Heroic much earlier in the piece this time around. That and a bit of extra dosh built up. They can buy into this. Heroic, on the other hand, those are not optimal buys. Mertz. Blast Cannon doesn't really have anything else to work with there besides pretty much landing those first shots. He has done it before, however. Blame is out of the game. He will die. Tag, working around the smoke, might be able to get something. Hasn't been able to see Kenny S just yet, and Kenny S, I don't know if he actually spotted him. He may have. He has. Oh, it won't matter now. Kenny S gets the kill. Steven trades out. Freiburg, if he can creep out of this vent, he might be able to do nothing. That is a well-held angle there by Shocks. Steven also not able to secure any kills here. Mertz, very gracious to Shocks for slowly creeping down there into his crosshairs. He picks another angle. G2 at this point, though, they surely should know that Heroic's economy is not great, and therefore hunting a dangerous AWP like Mertz in this case is a good way to go. Pretty much want to make sure he doesn't have that. Go about it rather conservatively, though. Lucky, he's holding the angle there, waiting for Mertz to perhaps get out of tunnels there, but it's not going to be the case. Almanac with the flank will pretty much stop him from being able to, yeah, do anything. With the AWP going forward, and with that, Heroic find themselves at about the $2,000 mark. That's a sad place to be in. They will have that one flash. That one flash is basically going to carry the entire hopes of that team for this round. Will it blind everybody on G2 and allow them to just rush through and do some great stuff there? It won't. Not yet, at least. They haven't thrown it. Oh no, the only kill from Heroic so far is Tag on to Blame. That feels bad. Followed up with a grenade kill. Mertz is taken out of the picture. And Steven, he still has this flashbang. He's up in heaven. Gonna set it up for the pop flash. That, they get a rifle. It's something. Freiburg, he's continuously peeking this. Jax, anticipating the crosshair through smokes, is actually able to get another kill. S-Tag going down. Steven, nothing he can really do. I mean, he's keeping his eyes pretty much, well, on the sides, but he'll die. Freiburg getting himself the AK is pretty much going to be the main prize. Money on the side of G2 is going to be enough that we're pretty much going to see Almanac will be most likely upgrading. The answer to that is basically just running with this Mac 10 and just seeing how much you can get out of it. It's still going to get you just as much money, of course. Not the worst idea, especially depending on where he actually wants to play here. A lot of smoke's being built up there on the outside there. You could try to creep through that. Alternatively, just go for the traditionally close angles inside. The early utility usage here. They're setting up. They wanted to basically deny Hut, but Steven's there. Quickly dispatches Amanek, Kenias, Jax. Blame will take out Lucky as well, and Shocks. This situation pretty much over because he drops down to his death. It's quite important for Heroic. They don't want G2's momentum to build up, especially after, definitely after Cache, and certainly after Overpass. They're able to break it there, but it took them a while. They can do it this soon is good news for them indeed. Steven, they're going to be wary of this, especially after that grenade there. They know that he's up there. Shocks might actually be able to get a shot onto his foot. Leaves him exposed, though. That smoke will pretty much quieten that discussion for the meantime. Mertz on the outside. As the Steyr, the Org, he won't get the peek onto Jax. Initial work on the inside. Now a bit of work on the outside from G2. A bit of utility. Freiburg. Excellent shot onto Shocks there. Allows him to even this up just a little bit. Again, just trying to tussle Heroic back and forth between these positions here. Staven with an advanced one in the hut itself. Doesn't win the duel against Lucky, and that's it. It's going to signal the push onto this A site. Freiburg can rotate through unders. S-Attack on the outside there. He's able to grab Kenny. Let's tries to go towards Crouch there, but with that, the bomb is planted. 3 versus 3. Retake situation. Freiburg tries to get something from Vents. Spray down comes in, but he's not going to do that. Smoke pops out there. Might allow him to push on. Flame going for a push from Heaven here. He might be able to catch one of these defenders off guard, but Jax, Dominic, and Lucky, each gaining themselves a kill. They'll have nothing to do with it. More a push coming out onto the outside there. It's from G2. Pretty much work past all those smokes, only copying a little bit of health loss there. It's a Vent. Freiburg peeks one way, peeks the other, gets killed. Lucky is also waiting for Staven to try and go for that rotate as well. That is some chess that we're seeing right there. S-Attack though, if he keeps this angle, he could be absolute menace. Jax! Seemingly dodging 2 shots there. The utility reigns in, keeping Heroic out of the sight. Bomb plant's gonna go down. On the side of Heroic, it's 3 versus 4 retake. Got barely any utility to work with. I think you may have to call it there. G2 wanting to push upon the lead that they built up for themselves so far, despite only being 1 round. Hunt is on. Heroic split up between a few different places here. Mertz. I don't know if Lucky actually heard the scope there. Oh no, that is a quick body shot there, bringing Lucky down to 3 health. They smell blood in the water. Jax, you'll take out Mertz. Not before he's able to dispatch of Lucky. That round, G2 are able to control this situation just a little bit better. Heroic seemingly wanting to run away with it for a little bit there. Oh, the anticipation there, looking for those known angles. Emanek taking Blame's head clean off there. But with that, who will be left to defend this lower site here? Staven with the CZ gets Shocks. Straight out quickly though. Jax is on low health. Mertz. A kill with the USP, but that was against a quite low health opponents there. Still got Jax as an option, but as for the rest of them, I think really it's just going to be a matter of trying to get some kind of weapon here. I don't think Mertz has anticipated Jax moving across from there. That's 1. Not a second. S-Tag will, of course, get Jax low health opponents there. Oh no. S-Tag had the chance to get this. I mean, he could try and stick the defuse. He doesn't have the kit anyways. Secondary prize of getting the kill onto Lucky, not available to him either. Rogue still able to buy into these. Good. It's not the end of the world. Seems they're not going to be as comfortable as their opponents. Speaking of which, are starting to build up that T-side economy. Be quite bad for them. Oh, Blame. It's able to peek just around the corner of that smoke there. A few bullets in basically means the Jax is going to go down, but the trade is set up there. Shock's also anticipating some kind of push through hut into lobby. Was himself a kill. Yes. With these mid-round situations, Heroic become more and more at risk of being picked apart. Mertz wanted to do something about it though. Scores himself a nice kill. A-site still seemingly under control by Heroic. And he's working his way through it. Works his way into the crosshairs of Stavin. "35 seconds left. Bomb control still in G2's hands. One side or the other. This move up into heaven would indicate that that's what they're working towards. This flank, though, from Stavin pretty much drops the bomb then and there. Amanek gets it, but they know he's got to go for this, and that's it. It's pretty much just a waiting game. If they actually caught him, they didn't hear him drop, but they certainly caught him after that. Stavin has actually been stepping up a bit more in this map, leading Heroic scoreboard at least. It's good. He is one of the younger talents. He's basically going to be the firepower that they're hoping to build up, so when he can pop off, that is always a good thing. Heroic. Stand positioning here from the side of G2. They want these orbs to be making these peaks. Long angles means that they might be able to get the drop, but if you're S-Tag and you have an AUG, you get the drop, then you get yourself a kill. That's Kenny S out. Orb gone as well. They may have to assume that Kenny may not have pushed out there if he was on his own. Things will quieten down for the meantime. Heroic still churning ever so slowly through the utility. I'm going to get a bit of use for it. The setup is on hut here. The smoke will go down, but it'll be just outside of the window for wanting to be able to get something good with it. Stavin, he's dead. Mertz is dead as well. Freiberg, yes, trying to hold this. A lot of work done there. S-Tag pretty much wastes Jack's time at this point. If he goes for that jump peak again, he could get his head taken off, but Jack's actually got a position up on the huts there. Doesn't matter though, Blame will take him out from heaven. Neither side really able to secure a bit of a lead here. But it should be said that Heroic will try to tie this one out. They've got the situation to do it. Amanek, though, almost able to get the kill. Won't be able to do it. Losing a lot of health on progress, and in the process of that, Blame, with these weakened eco players there, is pretty much primed to try and take them out. Team damage coming in there. Kenny S actually weakened quite a bit as a result of it. Stavin is just going to hold down this angle. Basically try to box in G2 or wait for Amanek to cross there. With Kenny S being the last one alive. He has the bomb. What else can he do there? He can get an excellent peek on the Mertz. That's a start. That's a tag though. We'll be waiting for him. 66. Mertz anticipating the push onto Squeaky there, gets a kill. That's Kenny S out of the mix. Orbs retrieved though. Shock's unlucky. I'll have to pretty much step up these peaks from the Orbs. Need to shut down Heroic. Much better at their holds, now they've been able to buy up. But it's actually just gonna walk out. Shoot Shocks. He's been quite a terror to deal with in this best of 3. Amanek though, he knows how to try and get a peek onto that Orber, and he will do just that. Flame in that position, maybe able to catch him out, but Esatag also in hell, looking towards outside. Flame, they're finding that much better moments to actually sort of creep out and push this G2 side. Working out quite well for them. Lucky. I mean, his job from here on in is pretty much just to try and do damage wherever possible. From so far away, he is not really looking to retrieve it again. Freiberg not going to be a victim today. He will a kill, retrieves the Orb, which is great news for Mertz. Basically allows the CT economy to stay just that little bit stronger. G2 are going to be pushed onto not only a bit of a half buy here, if not just a eco altogether, but they've also lost the lead now. Heroic gaining that again. It's another rush through Squeaky. Bit of a throwaway round. Does beg the question as to the purchase of pistols there. Freiberg not wanting to waste any potential weapons, armor, anything like that. Pretty much be looking between the two. But between himself and Esatag there, they'll clean up nicely. A pause here before we head into the final round of the first half. You'd imagine it would be G2. They pretty much have to take those moments to recollect themselves out what they want to do against this heroic side. 15 rounds so far. A lot of information gathered. They're keeping track of it. They could use it quite well. The real downside to that, though, is that after these tactical pauses, most opponents will actually just make a slight change, if not a major one. Would throw G2's any kind of plan that G2 comes up with into disarray. With that, the pause is over. Have to see if there's done just enough to allow them to get round 7 on their side. Esatag pretty much caught in a shooting gallery, it seems. Taking out Kenny S and Shocks. Stavin been quite good up on the hut there. He's been able to get some good kills, good hold. Freiberg has been able to help out with that, and Esatag as well, actually, when he's been put up in that position there. So this A site has really been quite the issue for G2. Stavin will either makes this A site just a little bit easier if they want to go for it. Mertz, though, getting caught out. Secret, that is pretty much both sides. You could work either way. Esatag just got a very slim viewing angle there. More for the sake of getting the information than anything else, and to be honest, if he holds it, he's going to see that G2 are pretty much going to be running that one. Shots come in. Does Esatag want to re-peek that? He does. Almost just keeping G2 guessing just as much as we are looking at that one. But it does take Amanek down to 3 health. With the rotate coming in, that could prove to be a winning factor here. Push on the side there. Amanek first to go down. Blame getting his second kill onto Lucky as well. Jax got to do something, but with the grenades running in, the fact that he's jumped up there, they're going to hear him. No time left. Esatag pretty much just had to wait that out there on Catwalk. Hello and welcome back to the second half, map 3. Heroic, they've gained themselves a lovely lead here. Sides have swapped though. Second pistol round. G2 can nab it. Might give them just the window they need to get back in. Jack's getting one kill, getting second there. That's Estag and Stavin gone. Mertz is finally there. We'll get the trade kill. This has put Heroic in a bit more of a dire situation. Fast approach onto these sites isn't necessarily going to work out for them as they wanted. It's allowed G2 to reposition. G2 actually pushing up there. That grants Freiburg a kill. That's even things up. Also Kenny S down there as well. It's pretty much going to be the alarm, but this alarm also carries a gun. Freiburg's found that out. "50 seconds left. Heroic is still just looking for any advantage they can get creeping around this map. Problem is these close angles being held by G2 in some cases here, which mean that this could be ended quite quickly. Armanek waiting for something to happen. Shots being rained out there. It's now down to Mertz. He'll maybe get the bomb plant. He won't. That bomb plant could have done quite a bit for them. Heroic. Because they didn't get it, they will force up just a little bit here, if not throw all of the money at it at this round. They get a bit of utility for that. They get those CSEDs, they get 2 Desert Eagles, and a Tech 9. Something I think we're seeing too often these days. The run into the vent somehow works out for Estag there, although he's going to be stinging from it. He's down 29 health, and this is going to cause a bit of a rush, perhaps a bit of a rotate down into the lower side there. Mertz catches shocks out. Not able to grab the gun just yet, but... oh, Kenny S excellently lined up with the orb. He's able to get a third one onto Estag, then Stavin and Blame. They will get one gun for that, but that is pretty much how you turn a situation up onto its head. Pretty much allow shots to line up for Kenny S. Utility's still there though, so Heroic might be able to, if not, go for this A site, or B site, sorry. Keep the attentions there. Blame up in heaven though. It could be said that they're wanting to try and work something out here. Blame able to secure that kill. Pretty much saying to Stavin, get your butt over here, and he'll do just that. Open plant. Might have been deadly there, but both Stavin and Blame, and quite aware, keeping level-headed, they're able to secure that kill. Lucky, on the other hand, pretty much got 2 Ts in precarious situations there. The fact that he's been spotted means that he's pretty much got to watch out for heaven at any moment and know that he's got to go for that defuse. Doesn't have a defuse kit either, so sticking this is quite a tall order indeed. With that, Lucky's actually managed to bring this one around. Can't say that doesn't sting for Heroic. Bringing it down to a 2 versus 1 situation. Opponent doesn't have a defuse kit, but still not able to burn enough time out. It was basically about a second away as well. Flash coming in on the outside allows Shocks to get 3 kills. It's finally taken out by Blame. Stavin also get rid of Kenny S. 2 versus 3. It still favors the Ts though, because they can basically pick where they want to run from here, which site they want to go for. Either get a site with 2 CTs or 1 or none, depending on whether G2 wants to gamble or not. But with Aminek's positioning here in the lobby, it's a lot of information for his teammates to work with. Lucky as well, keeping his eyes on the outside there. They haven't jumped across yet, so like a presence down towards B might be a bit of a red flag, but in this particular case, G2 has all of those corners covered. They've got the information they need. Heroic knows it as well. The amount of care they have to put into approaching even just a place like this. 1 kill into hut. That'll kick things off. Get the flash as well. They move out from Squeaky into vent. And that's it. They basically found the gap within G2's defense there to be able to run down onto the B site. Lucky has to move fast. I don't know if he's going to be able to sort this bomb plant. He won't because sitting behind the reactor there. Flame goes down. Stavin following quickly after. That G2 will be able to tie things out 9-9. The main benefits that Heroic are going to see from doing this is trying to keep that CT money down. And still force up if they want to. Being that it's a tied situation here, they might want to basically stop G2 from being able to build a bit of a run-up. Decision's been made. We should see follow-up purchases coming out of the rest of Heroic. Tag holding off just to that last moment. Not a lot of utility to work with, but they basically commit to one particular site or approach and fast. It may be just enough post-plant situation, pending of course, but it's certainly not going to be enough. Burn out G2's utility. The team so far being way too modest to really go for any cheeky peeks here. Smoke's raining down onto outside though. This might prompt something from Shox. He's holding a bit of an off angle here. They do decide they want to go for that cross, go towards Mini there and get into A. Might be met with a whole lot of death. NES though, he's waiting for this. It's pretty much going to be running right into his field of view. Any moment, he's going to get one. He's going to jellyfish away. Almost getting the second. Will he get away in time though? Surprisingly does. Cheeks for that kill. He does. Kenny, and he gets it. Stavin wants to try and end a bit of this madness. He does. This has put Heroic in a bit of a compromised position. Blame finding that one out. S-Tag also bearing the wrath of Jax. Jax jumping across there. Not entirely expecting Stavin to be waiting for it, but Stavin has to bait out the plant. He's down to one player. He's not going to expect Lucky to be pushed up that quickly there. Basically had to roll the dice. Does he go for the bomb plant, or does he try and hunt out the kill? Lucky knows that he can bait out a response from Stavin and waste his time and stop that bomb from going down. Then he's pretty much done his job. What Heroic try to do here with pistol armor buy with a bit of utility is to be seen. The grind is out. That'll be Jax and Shox. But they'll die. Aminek with an XM. Waiting to do great things up in A, but the action's down in B. They move towards the side. Kenny S waiting for it. He's still alive though. Can't say the same for Lucky. Kenny S with that AWP and XM. This is going to be an interesting retake situation. I don't know exactly what you do with that. Perhaps you spam out as soon as they go for the plant. Well, Kenny S is able to work with that though. This is back to a 1v1 duel. Freiburg. The main veteran on the side of Heroic. Running all the way back towards A, he's actually going to go outside as well. If he goes through Mini and catches the rotate there, this could be huge. If he's actually going to try and walk most of the way through to Secret, that could be even bigger. Kenny S, though, always worry about these other flanks, isn't going to present an opportunity for Freiburg to get him. 20 seconds, Kenny's at the vent. The rotate is going to favor him. Freiburg has to get that plant. He might be able to bait some kind of peek out of Kenny, but that's going to be his best chance. Otherwise, what do we really do here? Smoke goes down. Kenny, you can try to get this shot. He does. That is amazing. Freiburg almost able to get his way out of the site there. Was through the door before Kenny just decides to flat out shoot him through it. What you do on the side of Heroic after that, I'm entirely certain, knowing that you are that close to at least evening the score out. A lot of work gone into it. Pretty much comes down to a shot like that. The main benefit to this round for Heroic, though, is that they will be able to buy back into it. Gives Mertz the AWP again. Not been able to find his footing here quite as well as on the other maps. He's actually bottoming out Heroic. Yes, though, perfectly comfortable AWPing on Nuke. Also, Nuke 101 there that you will want to smoke that crossing. Seemingly only one player really there to actually try and contest it, and that was Kenny, but he's going to have to fall back. He doesn't necessarily have the view, but with the peek coming in from Mertz, knows that somebody else might be looking for something around the peek. Trying to catch him at the off angle that he would pick. Out snipe Mertz. Flash goes up. Oh no, he gets on scopes just as they go for the cross there. Look at this, they're just perfectly boxing Kenny out of having any kind of impact there as they go for the cross outside. They're already waiting for this this flank from Heaven. Gonna get it. It's down to 20 seconds though. That good work. It costs time. They're gonna have to rush onto A if they don't try and get these angles well. They don't. That's pretty much going to stall this entire approach. They have to try and get the bomb here. Oh no, they try to bait out the bomb plant. That was basically down to about 10 health there between Jax and see the pressure starting to build up on Heroic just a little bit. I've got ideas. Problem is, they just take a bit more time. The freeze time, Heroic. It's just a matter of wanting to find out exactly what happened there. Why time burnt down, why it pretty much led to a very shaky push onto this A side. They're not wasting any time with this one, though. They're going to push on the A side. They're not able to get these angles, though, and it becomes a very quick extra round for G2. Rogue have perhaps pretty much hit the bottom of the ideas pool. The nuke, the rushing with a full buy as well, just trying to get something going on with it. Oh no. Freiberg, he saw the angle that smoke came from, but he's flashed, so that's basically allowed Shox to get out of there, at least for the meantime. In fact, he gets the kill. Jax is pretty much ready to just mow down the rest of this approach. Stavin gets a little bit of revenge, but Lucky's there to pretty much wrap that one up for us. That's it, 14-9. G2, they lost a lot of lead, a lot of that commanding presence that they've had for at least the last two maps. And Rogue looked like they might have actually been able to bring this back, but they're now 1 point away from being on match point. They'll win out the series here. Rogue loses this one. Oh. At the very least, it sets them up to do great things throughout the rest. Competition, being able to pretty much take it to a team like G2. We noted, of course, that both sides have had their changes recently. Armanek and Stavin being the new additions here. Stavin actually catching out the side of Shox. As a result, NES not able to protect his comrade. Secret has been taken. Grenades are flying in, though. And look at that. That's pretty much worn down a lot of armor and health. Mertz getting out jeweled there. Freiberg will get the trade. They're getting slowed down again, though, as they want to try and move on to the A side. Just trying to move textbook-like. Throwing utility at just about everything. Freiberg with a wider peak. They're saving him. NES, though, he's not one for modesty. He will take that second peak. Blame. Pretty much what stands between G2 and their match point. What stands between Heroic and a very long and arduous climb back up. Just to make this a regulation into overtime. Armanek running through Hut, and this is the best thing he could have done, actually. He's going to hear the plant go down. He's going to shoot him. And that's it. Match point. Going over to G2. The money situation for Heroic means that it's going to be slightly weaker than they otherwise normally be. Another pause coming out here. I want to know, what do we do? What do we do to win these 6 rounds in a row, bring this to overtime, and then win the overtime after that? That is the task ahead of them here. I think going into this best of 3 series, not many folks would have actually picked Heroic to push G2 this far. That's pause time counts down. And this is it. This is either the moment allows Heroic back into this series. Mertz, first kill onto Kenny S. Says yes, that is exactly what this is. G2 shifting things up a little bit, trying to account for this. S-Attack already this far. Getting lots of information. Shox not even anticipating, expecting the player could be there. He'll get quickly killed. Mertz has got his hands on the AWP here. Short-lived victory, though. Lucky shoots him right through the smoke. Lucky's actually doing a lot more damage on a Freiberg purely with a USB. He has to be shut down. That's exactly what'll happen. S-Attack. His positioning's been great. He's been able to catch out these G2 players quite well. Jax, what do you do here? Oh, that's a start. 7 dies. Now they know where Jax is and what options are available to him. Tag's already waiting for this rotate. That's it for at least another round. Heroic will survive. 5 more to go. Now, perhaps I am just a little bit nostalgic for about 3 or 4 years ago, but I never trust a French team with pistols. Thank you, Envious. That is pretty much a lasting impression there. Rock, on the other hand, don't want to slow down too much. Means that Jax has a chance to do something. His teammate will die. Behind him. Trades are coming out quick. Rock's unlucky. The other CZs, they're sitting around this B site. Whether they can actually get these kills is another question. Lucky has an answer for that one, though. Take out Freiburg. Bomb still hasn't gone down. Down here. It's in the B site. They're waiting for it. The utility. Oh, that was an unfortunate exchange between Blame and Lucky. But waiting for this. Fox runs out. Gets killed. 15 to 11. G2. They're on the cusp of victory. That must be playing on their minds quite a bit here. Heroic, on the other hand, showing us that with their backs against the wall, can pull out some results. I'm sorry, Freiburg, I think I might have jinxed you, but that's okay. I need that molly. That is just fine, not bathed in flames. Perhaps wanting to try and catch Heroic off guard. We'll have a bit of a stack towards ramp. Tag again. Getting lots of ground and information. Just being able to creep through secret there. Gets this information to say that, yeah, they're not really hanging around B. That might call in the rest of Heroic. Will likely prompt a rush coming in from ramp. That's basically 2 choke points there. Utility remaining on Heroic. They can basically lock that out completely. That's 3 incendiaries. Couple of flashbangs. Nade. That's pretty much all you need, really. It's 1 smoke going out from G2 in response to that. That's the peaks coming in. Steven will take out Jax, who was sitting on the ramp there. He's also been able to spot out a few of the other players as well. Kenny's having to change his position there. Amanek also going down. Tag seemingly offering himself up to Kenny S, but that'll pretty much be another clean victory for Heroic. It's an anti-eco. That's exactly what you want to see if you're rooting for the Danes here and the 1 Swede. Pause is over. You two have to be thinking to themselves that with about 6 rounds on the belt, pretty much available to them to get this win. Finally, it'll be getting quite frustrating. Just outside of their grasp. Mertz continuing the trend there. Got a kill onto Shocks. This is a buy from G2 as well. Oh, a forced one at that. Less armor. Less diffuse kits there. Just the one spot unlucky so far. Not a huge amount of utility back it up. Basically means that, yeah, G2 have to be using these items, equipment, quite wisely. Win here. And likely to put Heroic onto 14th point as well. What seemed like such a terrible task for Heroic pretty much been achieved. It is just one of many possible futures here. Utility runs out. So does Blame. Gets taken out by Jax. Jax not done with the tease. Takes out Stavin as well. Is he actually going to be able to get S a tag? He's creating so much room here. Kenny S is pretty much the one moving around after that. He gets a wallbang shot there onto Mertz. An S attack. This is it. Jax finally able to put this madness to an end. With that, G2 will best Heroic 2-1. This, I think, has been a bit of a surprise to a lot of people. Heroic showing that they've got a lot to offer and to bring here, and G2 for a first showing with Armanek able to get a win. That's very good. With that, I think we'll have to bid you a good night. Thank you for tuning in and joining us whilst we watch this best of 3 series. Make sure to give a follow over to CappingTV. Again, there's lots of different kinds of series that they follow in here, different regions, get into all kinds of weird places and tournaments with this game, but we also cover Team Fortress 2, PUBG. Also make sure that you give the Twitter a follow as well, because a lot of the events will be posted up there. Anyways, thank you again for tuning in. I've been your caster, Jevons. Thank you, and I'll have to catch you next time.